Good morning and welcome to the midweek edition of the AM show on the Joy News channel. My name is Sweetie Abochi. And for this morning, of course, we start by serving you the AM news. And then we get into our news review segment. Dr. Kwame Asante, the head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, will be joining us to review the newspapers. And then Mubarak Haruna will serve you AM sports. And of course, as your election headquarters, will bring you the biggest story in the country. The Peace Council is set to negotiate with the NDC as the party makes 6 demands as a precondition to sign any peace pact going into election 2024. And we'll interrogate these matters and their demands as the party says these are legitimate demands that need no negotiations. Also, the vote exhibition enters day 2 with reports of low patronage and calls on the IGP to stop his men from preventing some NDC agents from observing the process. Also, we'll reach out to the EC on this and other issues on the AM show. And then, of course, today being a Wednesday, we'll serve you AM business. And we'll hear from some companies poised to offer irresistible discounts as we inch closer to the major event, EcoBank Joy News Habitats Fair 2024. And James Ishen, of course, is on that beat and will bring us details and updates. You want to join us with your comments and thought, but we'll also bring you another installment of Just Turned 18, where our very own Lois Sholadiemi interacts with young headquarters in search for the real factors pushing these young women away from their roots into the capital and how their struggles are shaping their choices as we head for December polls 2024. Of course, we'll open the phone lines later on in the day, so you want to join us, but mostly on social media with your comments and your thoughts. Welcome aboard the AM show. Let's start now with the AM news. This is the AM news on the AM show. Details now. The National Peace Council says it will negotiate the conditions of the National Democratic Congress after the party rejected signing a peace pact for the 2024 elections unless 6 critical demands are met. The NDC's conditions include signatures from the Inspector General of Police, the Chief Justice and the Attorney General committing to the peace pact. They as well want a full audit of the Electoral Commission's IT systems before they commit to any peace agreement. Johnson Asiedu-Nketia is the chairman of the NDC, and there's more in this report.
For years, the peace accord signed by political parties has been a cornerstone of election tradition, a pledge to uphold peace no matter the circumstances. But on August 13, the NDC national chairman, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, announced the party will not participate in this year's accord. His reason is simple.
The declaration don't mean anything to us.
A peace declaration? It doesn't mean anything to you?
It doesn't mean anything to us because all previous declarations have not been adhered to, and those declarations have not solved any problem. You have violence, whether you sign declaration or not.
In a desperate move, the Peace Council, fearing the potential fallout, scheduled a meeting to persuade the NDC to reverse their decision. During the encounter, the Peace Council, represented by Maulvi Mohammed bin Sali, urged the NDC to reconsider their position.
Here to appeal and that to kindly do your best to erase any animosity whatsoever if it does exist. Any suspicion whatsoever if it does exist. We are only here to plead that let us decide and agree to make a start. And it is never too late to make a start.
The Peace Council asks the NDC to prioritize peace.
Our plea is, let us let bygone be bygone. Not that we forget it. No sensible person can forget his past, because the past can always guide us as we move ahead. But we can shelve it with the hope that, yes, we would be able to do better. We have what it takes to do much better than we are doing now. And that must be collaborative.
But the NDC will have none of that. National chairman of the party, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, says it cannot be business as usual.
We have listened to your view, but
we don't accept the fact that we should let bygones be bygones. Because crime has no expiry date. The people who have been killed and maimed are people's fathers, breadwinners, sisters, so on. And the cases are live. People are calling for justice.
The NDC remains resolute, stating they won't commit to any pact unless 6 key conditions are met.
Condition number 1 is that let us see full implementation of the recommendations of Ayawa West Wogon Commission of Inquiry. We want to see prosecution initiated in respect of the illegal printing and handling of several, about 1 million extra ballot papers. We have not heard anything about it. We want action on it now. Otherwise, the next election, the same people can go and now print more than 2 million. The Electoral Commission has not been open to us. We suspect that the equipment is not missing. And they are being hidden for some unwholesome agenda. We have our confidence in the IT systems at the Electoral Commission has been shaken. And we want, point number 5, the president to declare openly on a state platform, not on his political party platform, that he will respect the will of the people as expressed by the outcome of the 2024 December election results. Finally, before any such document, peace pact is submitted to us for signature, we want to see the IGP sign into that document. We want to see the Chief Justice sign into that document. We want to see the Attorney General sign into that document. And we want to see the National Security Coordinator sign into that document. If all of them sign, and the monitoring group commits itself to the policy of naming and shaming publicly anybody who reneges on his obligation as far as implementation of the electoral laws of this country are concerned, we think that we will have the way forward.
Angry party members of the NDC were unhappy with the plea from the Peace Council. The Peace Council is now racing against time to meet these demands as they schedule similar meetings with other stakeholders, particularly with the incumbent government. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
The Trades Union Congress is demanding for full takeover of board chairmanship of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, arguing that the state agency is failing to yield any positive dividend for pensioners and the working class in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo stoked controversy yesterday when he argued that Senate's decision to declare a nationwide strike over sale of the Labadi Beach Hotel and some other 3 hotel facilities was unnecessary. For President Akufo-Addo, Senate is seeing an improved performance culminating in dividends of 230 million Ghana cedis for the Ghanaian people. But Labour disagrees, and there's more in this report.
Union Congress Ghana says it is not backing down from its demand for reforms in the administration of funds held in the Social Security and National Insurance Trust (SNIT). At its 12th quadrennial delegates conference in the Central Region, the union re-echoed concerns about the decision of SNIT to sell off its stake in Labadi Beach Hotel and 3 other facilities, prompting a sharp response from President Akufo-Addo, who called on organized labor to be measured in their commentary amidst the controversy.
I take note in particular of the improved performance of SNIT, which recently announced a surplus of 230 million cedis on its operations. This should be reassuring to organized labor and perhaps bring into sharper relief the unnecessary controversy that was recently generated by SNIT's efforts to offload non-performing assets in its hotel portfolio. It is my understanding that the transaction that was aborted represented the only occasion in recent history of SNIT that external investors sought to invest in SNIT's holdings. All of us need to be measured when it comes to making decisions and pronouncements that would affect the long-term interests of pensioners.
Executive Secretary of Clocksang, Isaac Bampoado, tells Joy News that the interest of organized labor is to secure the collective goal of pensioners and the working class.
But we went to dialogue, it didn't solve it. So we had to use workers' power, and that's what we used. And it worked for us. So
that's it. 230 million profits that SNIT is making. It looks like SNIT is doing well if we are looking at that figure.
Yeah, if I'm not privy to those figures, but if that is true and SNIT is doing well, that should reflect in the benefits that they give to pensioners. It should also reflect in the pockets of the pensioners. They must have good benefits so that they don't complain. But as you all know, pensioners are complaining. Workers' money. This is pension funds, workers' money, and that must reflect in the governance structure of SNIT. Workers must be in charge, and that's what we are calling for.
What exactly?
We should be in charge of the board. We should control the board. Not to have a board membership of about 12 and you have only 4 workers. No.
The Joseph Ajero Pencil Hall at the Pentecost Convention Center will also be the venue for TUC's executive elections, which will lead to the swearing-in of new leadership for the Labour Front.
At least navigate the union. We are expecting that the confidence of TUC will be brought back into the heart of workers.
But we expect that the new leadership going forward next year will push so that our salaries will be better, our conditions will be better.
Authorities at the renal units of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital are being forced to sacrifice machine servicing time to cater for patients due to inadequate machinery. The 6 machines at the facility have become inadequate after visits to the facility have more than tripled following the rollout of the free dialysis program of the National Insurance Authority. Head of the renal unit, Dr. Perdita Ochre, fears the lifespan of the machines may reduce with the present rate of usage. Nanaya Ojima visited the facility and has come through with this report.
The temporary dialysis center in the emergency unit of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital is filled with patients and family members. Already, all 6 dialysis machines here are occupied. Until May this year, the hospital had only 3 dialysis machines, catering for the few patients who could afford the dialysis treatment. Head of the renal unit, Dr. Perdita Ochre, explains.
Before this, these machines were not adequate because Komfo-Anokye seeks to serve the northern sector of Ghana. People coming from Sunyane, most of the northern regions, they come to Komfo-Anokye for their treatment section.
The NHIA free dialysis program is offering free dialysis sessions for persons above 60 years and those below 18 years. Persons between the age brackets are offered 2 free sessions monthly. Until the intervention, about 20 of the 100 persons diagnosed of end-stage renal failure could afford dialysis. The number of patients reporting for the service has more than tripled after the intervention, stretching staff to work extra hours.
Government has put in intervention, so if my grandmother who is above 60 years come, I want to stay longer with no extra benefit to us as health workers. We want to stay longer. But how long can you keep on staying longer to absorb all these people? So sometimes you wait or you reschedule them for them to come. Even Sundays, now we work.
Presently, authorities are now scheduling patients for weekends, periods used for servicing of the machines. The unit is appealing to the government to replicate the support offered to Kolebu Teaching Hospital at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital.
This one we have heard Kolebu, they are sister centers. We have heard that they have received 30 new machines. And Komfo-Anokye, it's not like we don't have the place to absorb any machine that the government brings.
Unfortunately, the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital has only 6 dialysis machines, taking care of the whole of the northern sector. Until government take up this capital expenditure, people in need of help from the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital will continue to rule under the present situation. For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
Now, the minority in Parliament say it is improper for the Electoral Commission to charge a fee for voters to verify their registration details via a USSD code. The Electoral Commission began the nationwide exhibition of the voters' register at all polling stations, but voters have been given an option to verify the details via code at a fee of 50 pesos. But member of the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies, Roxy Nelson Dapiamokbo, says the charge is improper and outside of law. He wants the EC to end the charges immediately.
You don't have to accept things like this because you cost your program. The EC is mandated under law to cost its activities and bring same to Parliament for approval. They have just done that. So we are asking for accountability.
That they should come and account for it, or they should stop the charge.
If they want to proceed with it, then they have to come and account for it. Because Parliament cannot give you money to do this and you turn back and charge the people. I am saying that doing this amounts to charging money before persons are permitted to look at their names in the register. That is not acceptable. That is not the legal structure in place.
But what exactly is this USSD about and how does it work? My colleague Jacqueline Ansawayabwa has a demonstration.
The first thing here is you dial *711*51#. Then you press the call. And you're waiting, and it says here that welcome to the Mobile Voter Register Exhibition Service. Enter your 10-digit voter ID number. So I've already copied it and I'm just pasting it here. And it says here, hello Yabwa, you'll be charged 0.50 pesos to receive your voter verification details. So then I press 1 to confirm. Then wait, it says here, after payment confirmation, your voter ID details will be sent via SMS. Okay, and that was really fast. And I put in my Momo details. So now I'm waiting for the deduction message, which I still haven't gotten. It's now 10:25 a.m. I'm waiting on the message. 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, I still haven't even received a message of the deduction or even a message from the EC to make sure that my details in there are accurate.
And Kenneth Jesse visited some exhibition centers in the Greater Accra region, and at the time, just a handful of people had come to check if their details were captured well.
Well, this has been the scene at the various EC exhibition centers that we visited. Barely no voter inside to check whether their details are correct. We spoke to some of the EC officials, and this is what they said.
Oh, just only 2 people.
2? Since what time?
Yeah, around 7. One came early in the morning, 7:20, and then the other one came almost 8 o'clock. It was 7:50 something. It always okay. Previous years, the people, they don't care because they think their names are already in the register, so they don't have to come and waste their time here. So just few people will come, and then that's happened every year.
The people that came here today, did they have any issues with any of their details?
Oh no, please. Everything was intact. Yeah, everything was okay. But one man and then one woman, but the woman didn't bring card. But once she mentioned the surname, we were able to check.
As of now, we have about 10 people, since we started.
10, all from the same center, or is spread across?
Spread across. Okay. Since today being the first day, it's been a bit of slow start, but we're hoping to pick up.
Now, the 10 people that came, did they have any issues with any of their details?
No problem. Yeah, looking at the time, we have enough room, so we are hoping to get more people by the end of the day.
Well, with the registration exercise lasting for a period of 8 days, it is the hope that as the day goes by, more people will come and check if their details are well captured into EC's database before we head to election 2024. From the Roman Rage Exhibition Center, Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
In other stories, Ghana Cocoa Board has justified its rising cost of operations despite decline in cocoa production in the past few years. Cocoa Board came under public criticism with the minority questioning a 3.4 billion Ghana cedi allocation for administrative expenses in 2024. Chief Executive Officer Joseph Boahinedu has been given some clarity on the matter in an interaction with journalists after appearing before the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. My colleague James Aveji was at that PAC meeting and now files this report.
It's for prospective voters to cross-check their details from the voter album. But the exercise has been slow, with only a few people trooping to the centers to confirm their details. At almost midday, most of the centers visited recorded as low as one individual turning up.
Only one person has come around. I don't know why they aren't coming.
It has not been encouraging at all. So far, we have 4 persons, yes, since morning.
And then when did you come here?
7 o'clock a.m.
Do you have any idea as to why they are not coming?
Be that they didn't get the information very well. We can also say that the weather too can be a cause.
The AC officials observe a trend of the aged visiting the center to confirm their details. At the Opokuwari polling center, the majority of the 20%.
Number of persons have raised concerns over the rising cost of operations at Cocoa Board. In fact, they have allocated some 3.4 billion Ghana cedis to spend as Cocoa Board. The minority have raised issues regarding that in recent times. But when the Chief Executive Officer, Joseph Boahinedu, appeared before Public Accounts Committee and interacted with the media afterwards, he explains that the rising administrative costs is because Cocoa Board is actually financing the cocoa rehabilitation project currently ongoing.
The government, together with Cocoa Board, then decided to make major intervention, which we call the rehabilitation program. And once you have such a program, you have to spend. And if you are spending, definitely your administrative costs will go up. So a lot of that money is going into payment of the workers who are working in the field.
Joseph Boahinedu also revealed to the Public Account Committee that 6 out of the 14 ongoing road projects initiated some 9 years ago have been cancelled due to financial challenges facing Cocoa Board.
Chairman, 6, according to table, 6 of the road projects have been terminated, and the rest are being repackaged for completion.
The Ghana Education Service also appeared before the Public Account Committee, where a principal superintendent from Gumwa West have been dragged before the committee to confess to some overpayment issues that arose.
When I got the money, I thought it was my money until the auditors came in.
Like we say in local settings, you have chopped the money. Mr. Sampson.
Yes, please.
You've chopped the money.
Yes, boss.
I see.
And I promise that I'm having an investment, which will end ending of this month. So if the money comes, I'll try if I can pay everything off, or if I'll pay part of it.
The committee has finished with its engagement with the ministry, department, and agencies here in Accra, and so has adjourned in Accra, but will continue with its regional engagement in the northern regions from Monday. From Parliament here in Accra, my name is James Savage, reporting for Joy News.
Coming up next is Business Update. In our first business story, banking consultant Dr. Benjamin Amwa has described Bank of Ghana's monetary tightening measure to help stabilize the cedi as prudent. The central bank has rolled out a series of measures to help stabilize the local currency, including make cedi assets more attractive with high interest rates and reviewing the policy rate. But Dr. Amwa was also worried about impact on cost of credit.
Rates are how the market means that if you are going to borrow, you are going to borrow at a higher cost, and this high cost will be fed into pricing with the assumption that loan cost is a major influencer of input prices, and that will affect prices on the market. We are going to consume goods and services at a higher price if this particular strategy should be sustained over the long term. But we should not forget, inflation itself is also a factor into the monetary tightening framework. So if we can get inflation under control, if you look at the market basket that is used to calculate or estimate our inflation, if all the variables in there or some of the major components can be brought under control, then that will feed into the overall inflation, which will also pull down the monetary policy rate. So over the long term, it is not sustainable because it will make prices expensive. But for the immediate term, the central bank may want to use this just to stabilize the currency.
The International Monetary Fund has disclosed that government may introduce the suspended 15% value-added tax on electricity if inflation rate continues to decline. Government suspended the plan to implement the VAT on electricity after public outcry on the hardship the tax may bring on consumers, particularly residential. The following report has more.
The IMF in its July 2024 country staff report hinted that government may implement the policy if inflation goes down. The IMF said on page 10 of the report, and I quote, "On the revenue side, implementation of VAT on residential electricity expected yield of 0.17% of GDP was suspended due to strong social resistance. The authorities are committed to implementing this measure when the inflation dynamics are more conducive." End of quote. The VAT on residential electricity was initially announced as part of revenue-generating measures under the IMF-supported COVID-19 recovery effort. A letter from the Ministry of Finance signed by former Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and dated January 1st, 2024, directed the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, and Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NETCO, to implement the VAT for residential customers above a specific consumption level.
Let's go for a currency update for today. That ends the AM News on the AM show. Coming up next is News Review. You want to stay for that. Dr. Kwame Asasanti, the head for the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, joins us to review the newspapers. We'll be right back. You're tuning to the News Review segment on the AM show on Joy News, your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. And this morning, before I introduce my guest to you, a gentle reminder that this segment is always brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And they're offering free screening, free prostate screening for men and fertility screening for women at their various locations. In Accra, you can find them on the Springtex Road opposite the Shell signboard. In Kumasi, Krono Abuenya, behind the Angel Educational Complex. In Takrade, Anaji Estate. In Tema, you can find them in Community 22. In Techiman, Hansua, in Nesiama, in Zema. Here are their call lines, 0244-867-068. or 0274-234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. This morning, our guest for News Review segment is Dr. Kwame Asante, and he's head for the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Doc, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sweetie, and good to see you.
Great.
Good morning to our viewers as well.
Okay, Doc. Let's get straight into what's on top of your mind this morning. You have about a minute to take us through that.
Yes, I listened last week. I was shocked. One of the comments by the National Youth Organizer for the MPP, called Mr. Salam Mustafa, responding to a statement by Mr. Sidun Ketia that the MPP would not sacrifice the election for at the altar of peace in this forthcoming election. I was very much surprised that we seem to have forgotten that when we talk about free and fair elections, we are talking a kind of election which is devoid of irregularities, such as violence, such as rigging, and the rest. And yet, we purport to believe in working for free and fair election. That the two are not the same. Because once you believe in free and fair election, you have told yourself, or you have pledged yourself to fighting against irregularity, fighting against violence, fighting against all the negatives that affect election. And at the end of the day, you are prepared to surrender and say that this person has won and I have lost. So violence doesn't come in. Peace is the way to go, that you cannot sacrifice for any other thing. Once you go on that tangent, you yourself, you are not in tune with the concept of free and fair election.
Right.
And let us remember that we have struggled, the good people of this country have struggled to build and maintain this current democracy. So any attempt at undermining this enterprise, people should think twice. You cannot threaten anybody when we are building a society, and we cannot work without peace. These things are very, very critical. They are the sine qua non without which no society can be built on.
Right.
So I will urge Mr. Mustafa and those who think alike that, look, violence is not the way. It's rather peace. And that if we want to really continue to build this society, we must preach and maintain peace at all times. It is incumbent upon all of us. It is not the responsibility of any other human being. All of us. And at all times, we want to maintain peace. Any other thing short of this is not countenance at all.
Then what do you make, talking about peace, ahead of December elections, what do you make of the NDC's demands and the response from the Peace Council that they are going to negotiate these demands to see if they arrive at some sort of middle ground? Do you see the wisdom, first of all, in the demands that the NDC is making as a prerequisite to signing the Peace Pact, and then the response of the Peace Council? What do you think of it?
You cannot blame NDC for what they are saying. Let us remember, they are not against peace. But they are saying that the body which is mandated to oversee peaceful process in election in Ghana, that is, or peace in general in Ghana, that is the National Peace Council, has reneged on its promise. They have sat down and saw certain acts being committed without getting to the bottom of it. They cited the issue of the killing of the 8 people, which for me is a sorry story. And up to date remain a blot on our democratic credentials. Even if we lost one person, it's bad enough to derail our democratic process. So when they lay out certain conditions, these conditions or these issues do not come from heaven.
Right.
There are things that have what happened, and they said, make sure that you walk us through. So I don't know what they are negotiating.
In fact, Doc, we will have that conversation later on in the show. And so let's put a pin in it for now and then get into the newspapers. Right. Okay. Sure. So let me start with the Daily Graphic then. On the front page, at the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting yesterday, which we brought to you live, remittances fetched $28 billion in 10 years. And the experts are calling for measures to leverage inflow. A banking consultant, Dr. Richmond Ituahene, has indicated that Ghana's economic lifeline flows from the millions of Ghanaians living abroad who sent in $28 billion remittances over the last 10 years, surpassing the country's earnings from the export of gold, cocoa, and oil. So although gold and oil exports over the last decade have totaled about $55 billion and $34 billion respectively, the surrendered value that comes to the Bank of Ghana for balance of payment support is far less than this amount, with a chunk of this money going directly to the investors who have committed resources into the industries. And I listened to him yesterday, and he was advising that government establish a separate institution or department with people who had the technical capacity to deal with these things, to track and monitor remittance inflows into the country, because it looks like that's a huge revenue avenue for the country. What do you make of it before we get to other stories?
I think this has been a feature of the Ghanaian economy since time immemorial, where people living outside the jurisdiction are sending money every day to support their families, their state, and all that. That's a beautiful one. And that is the more reason why we are saying that they cannot be sending money to this country without also having a hand in voting or deciding on important decisions of this country. And so you must not be happy all the time to receiving from them, but you must also give them opportunity to also participate in the affairs of the state. That is why it's critical. It's an important component. All that we need to do, I support Dr. Ituahene in his call, that we get experts to manage these things or handle these things so that we can put them into effective use. More often than not, you realize that we get resources, but the way we manage them raise a lot of questions. I think that the call from Dr. Ituahene is appropriate, and we need to do that if we really want to ensure value for money and encourage our people outside the borders to continue to dole out money to support ventures of different kinds in this country.
Okay, let's do some other stories. President lauds trade unions for industrial harmony. Cabinet approves, these are stories on the front page. Cabinet approves gifted, talented education. Listing graphic on stock markets, better option, according to the National Media Commission chairman. And let's start with this president's applause for trade unions for industrial harmony. And that story is on page 13 of the Daily Graphic. I'll get to it in a bit. And it reads, right. So the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has commended trade unions' preference for social dialogue over strike actions. That he said promoted peace, social cohesion, mutual respect, and trust. And addressing the 12th Quadrennial Delegates Congress at the Trades Union Congress at the Pentecost Convention Center at Goma Fete in the Central Region yesterday, he stressed the need for stronger partnership that enabled trade unions to exercise their power for the benefits of all. But I mean, what the highlight from the president's speech yesterday was his labeling of that industrial action from labor as unnecessary. That is for the fight that these 4 hotels not be sold to Brian Champon's Rogue City Hotel. And, it's come under criticism that does he really, after they've given up on the sale, I mean, I hope they have, must the president now come and be labeling that action, that nationwide action, as unnecessary? What do you make of it?
I think the president's statement was very much not proper. In fact, it was very unnecessary, rather. I mean, because the trade union cannot sit down while something goes on within their area of operation, and they will not comment. I mean, it amounts to they themselves slipping over their rights, and nobody will tolerate that. Not even the president will tolerate this thing for a minute when you know that your rights are being shortchanged and the rest of it, and you sit unconcerned. No, they will rise up and use the necessary public opinion tools. And one of it is what? Strike, and the rest of them. I mean, so if they use the constitutional tools to address or drum home their grievances about something that is core to their lives, I'm not sure the president is qualified to describe their action as unnecessary. It may be unnecessary to the president and the government, but for the trade unions, it means a lot. And I support the trade union to continue to demand what is due them using the necessary legal procedures and processes. Any other comment, I'm sure they will dismiss it and ignore it and continue to soldier on. I'm not sure they are in to undermine anything in this country. All that they are looking for is what? Fair treatment, and treatment will respond to what? The rules of the game. That is all.
And one of the biggest stories yesterday that has been captured here in the Daily Graphic about GBC receiving $3 million on the back of the All-African Games as the official broadcaster. That is according to Mustafa Yusuf, the sports minister, and that was when he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee. But I've listened to the Director General and some other people who said that figure is inaccurate, and in fact, they only received $105,000 and not $3 million. And I mean, as a concerned citizen, I'm asking myself, where's the money? Where did it go? $3 million, because some technical people are still saying they haven't been paid as we speak right now. And if they didn't receive $3 million, what is the sports minister talking about? Where did he quote this figure from? The inconsistencies, they scare me. Doc, I don't know what you make of it. Between $3 million, yeah.
I myself was shocked to the core about two important institutions in the state. I mean, the sports ministry and the state broadcaster, disagreeing on figures about something that has really happened. What has happened? That payment has been made, but as to the exact amount of money, nobody knows. And while this person is saying that it's $105,000 $105,000, this person is saying that it's $3 million. Yeah. So which is which? I think that they need to reconcile the books, and the public is interested in knowing how much was paid to and how much was received. Wherever, what about of the differences, the public has the right to know, and we want to know it within the shortest possible time.
And even if they received $105,000, why are people still not being paid? I mean,
that is another legitimate question.
Where did the money go? Where did the $105,000 go?
Yeah. So the Director General, who said that yes, $105,000 was received, we want a breakdown as to who earned what, who received what. It is important. This is part of the accountability and transparency system which this country has pledged itself through. And if you look at the directive principle, the introductory part of our constitution, that's the preamble, their order. We believe in probity. We believe in accountability. And we believe in anything transparency. All right. So it is important and incumbent upon them to make full disclosure. We demand that.
Of course, we demand that. Let's do some other stories. There's a story about CETA calling off the industrial action. And I mean, it's just a couple of weeks to the end of that semester. I don't know how. This is so unfair to students. I mean, the teachers are within their rights to be demanding that, their monies be paid, they be elevated to the level of other traditional teachers of other universities. But now that we have just a couple of weeks for the semester to end, where does that leave the students? Are they going to revise the entire academic calendar? How do they intend to approach that? Let me add a couple of more stories from the Daily Graphic, and then we'll end this, and I'll come to you, Doc. On the back page, Upper West takes delivery of drip equipment. NADMO triggers emergency response strategy for Bagri Dam spillage. And I remember that interview with the director for NADMO, and he said that they were prepared for the worst case scenario, and the impact will only be felt after a week. But there are reports that we've started seeing the impact of this spillage in some parts of the northern region. Let me read a bit of the story. The National Disaster Management Organization has put in place an emergency response strategy to mitigate the impact of floods and safeguard affected communities in the wake of the spillage of excess water from the Bagri and Kompianga Dam in Burkina Faso, and includes setting up safe havens across all flood-prone areas to accommodate all displaced individuals. Let me skip that. The Northeast Regional Director of NADMO, John Kweku Alhassan, told Daily Graphic that the organization has also activated its Emergency Operations Center to streamline and coordinate disaster relief efforts. So this is before we are getting the reports that they're actually starting to feel the impact. And one of the things that he said that, stuck out for me was that they did not know for sure how much or the quantity of water that is going to be spilled. And I'm asking myself, shouldn't there be some sort of collaboration between those in Burkina Faso? And he said they only got a statement, but didn't they probe to know? At the time, as at Friday last week, the water level was at 232 point something and still rising. And so as we speak, they don't know for sure the amount of water that they are going to be spilling and the impact. So they cannot gauge the impact. Yet they say they're prepared for the worst case scenario. And that is what the story is saying, that they are in fact prepared for the worst case scenario. But that is what we have. And that's the final story from the Daily Graphic.
On what basis are they saying that they are prepared? You don't know the volume of disaster in quotes, and how do you say you are prepared? But let's look at it critically. And that is why, if you look at this spillage and the effect that it has in Ghana, that is why the Walugu Dam is inevitable. Talk to VRA people, they will tell you that one of the best ways to deal with this problem is that construct the Walugu Dam. Then, whilst the water is coming from Bagri, Walugu will take a chunk of the water and then use it for irrigation purposes. That reduces the volume of the water. Then the water travels to Akosomo there with a reduced size, which will go through the dam to Pom. And we have very little or no incident. That is it. So the Walugu Dam is what the sine qua non, without which we are not going to get peace relative to what all the problems that are associated with the water spillage from Bagri Dam. If we want to address this problem head on, the first port of call is to what? Build Walugu and then make sure that that project of what irrigation, you undertake that extensively. That you are killing a bird,
two birds with one stone.
Two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
You are going to make use of what? Energy, and then you are going to get irrigation, and it will create what? Employment for people. All right, and you are going to save that expensive project of what? Akosomo Dam, and its what? Sister what? Dam Pond. And then the effects. The area people will tell you, if you allow the dam to have water accumulated behind it and the dam collapses, the whole part of Accra will be wiped out. Volta region and other areas. You have no idea. If when you talk to them, you get that scary, situation. So we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. I want NADMO to be alive to these things, because VRA, what they do is that they have a team that look at the water every day, and they sit down, calculate the volume of water that comes, and then they report.
Yeah.
And then they open the dam slowly. People are not aware of these things. Talk to them, you get the details. Slowly. The time they said they are going full hawk, spillage, then it means they've reached the zenith, and that they need to save the dam. So they do this thing on daily basis. Those who go and put oil at places and all that, they do and come back to report. All right. But these things also are something which political office holders have run away from. You need to get courage to get people off the places they are not supposed to be near the water body. That is also a fact. Over the years, political office holders have not mastered the courage to get people out, and anytime they encroach all these spaces, they create problems for us. So I think we have to look at it. The issue of CETA,
yeah.
all right, and their strike and all that is unfortunate. I am not sure their concerns are just they spring a surprise on us in recent time. It has been on the table for a very long time.
Yeah.
What I have seen in this country is that on the labor front, government will negotiate with labor groups, and then when they agree on certain terms, you realize that government will fail. And based on that, people will come back to fight for them, their rights. And normally, yes, once you see students who are on campus ready to study and they don't have teachers, it calls for worry. But look, a hungry man is an angry man, all right? So they also, the teachers, deserve the fair share of their national cake. And once they get that, they will be able to deliver to the children. Remember, no teacher is interested in having your children, your students, sitting aloof without what being taught and all that. You are interested, but of course, you also need to fight for your interests first. So if the government doesn't want these things to happen, they need to fix this problem head on.
Right, Doug. Just one quick thought before I get to the New Finder newspaper. I know for sure that the government and government's past understand the significance of building this Palugu Dam, which is why the Vice President also reiterated that he's committed to it in his manifesto. So what I don't understand is what's the challenge then? All these years, why has it not been done yet? And why are we still just committing to it in manifestos? Because at this time, they understand that is what the people want. So it's not like that leaders don't know what we want or what the country needs to propel our development agenda. But the challenge really is why they can't seem to reconcile what we need and doing what we actually want.
And that is why I have a problem, because the essence, the bottom line when we're talking about governance is the use of political and economic resources to make life better for people. If you have a problem that you are not able to deal with, then what kind of leader will you be? A leader is the one who lead with example, who trigger the process to let people have meaningful life. So if you have a problem and you can't deal with it, then what type of leader are you? I am questioning that.
Okay. Let's get to the New Finder newspaper. On the front page, Minister warns contractors against delays in secondary city support project execution. Diet, lifestyle crucial in managing polycystic ovarian syndrome, according to Dr. Paddy Aite. Guard against job losses to technological advancements. That is the president to TUC. Let's start with the minister's warning to contractors against delays in secondary city support project execution. And that story is on page 8 of the New Finder newspaper. The Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Mr. Martin J. Mensah Kosa, has cautioned contractors involved in the Ghana Secondary Cities Support Project against delays or requests for contract extensions. And he emphasized that requests for extension in contract duration would not be entertained. Quote, these projects are essential to our nation's development, and any delays undermine our goals for economic growth and community well-being, he said. And a significant $245 million investment so far has been made in the urban development projects. Doc, please hold for me. Let me do, about 3 major stories in this paper, and then we can speak about it and wrap up. GSS launches Ghana Stats app to promote district-level development. The Ghana Statistical Service has introduced the Ghana Stats app, a cutting-edge mobile application designed to provide comprehensive district-level statistics based on the 2010 and 2021 population and housing census. And it was launched yesterday, August 20th. And this innovative tool aims to enhance data accessibility and empower policymakers, local authorities, and development partners with detailed insights to drive effective and targeted interventions across the country, propelling the digitization agenda, I guess. And on the front of tourism, arts and culture, they say diet, lifestyle crucial in managing polycystic ovarian syndrome. This is important, so let me put this out. A distinguished gynecologist and women's fertility specialist, Dr. Paddy Aite, has underscored the pivotal role that diet and lifestyle choices play in managing polycystic ovarian syndrome. In an insightful interview on ZFM, Dr. Aite highlighted how these factors significantly influence the symptoms of PCOS, a condition that affects many women worldwide. I also wanted to find, so moreover, the emotional and mental health challenges faced by women with PCOS, including mood swings and depression, often linked to hormonal imbalances caused by the condition. So, just advocating or admonishing us to be very careful with our diet and lifestyle habits in managing polycystic ovarian syndrome. Doc, your review.
Right. I will start with job losses, which have been attributed to introduction of technologies and all that.
Yeah.
Technologies will come at all times. and we need them. But that is why we as a society, we must also get ourselves in readiness to deal with the problems that accompany some of these good things that affect our society. So all that we need to be able to move abreast with time and be able to deal with the lingering challenges or the challenges that come along with introduction of new technologies. Technologies will forever come, but we must be ready and brace ourselves for it. Not only just brace ourselves, but we have a way out to that problem. Let us remember that there is always a way out. All that you need to think outside the box and create a problem. I am not one who is afraid of problems, because I know that problems are the building blocks of society, and they're building blocks of development. It's a problem of walking from maybe Borga to Accra, and somebody develop a car and somebody develop an aeroplane. We build on that, so we should not be afraid of this. Request for extension of projects and all that, a good call, all right? Deadlines are deadlines, and these things, they cost state a whole lot of money. So when the state want to insist that those who deliver service to them deliver based on deadlines, I mean, it's a sound call, and we applaud that. All that we want to make sure that the two parties which are involved in a contract, that the person who you are working for and the person who is rendering the service, we are all at the same page, and that you render based on this time, and when we finish, you get your money. Sometimes you hear they finish projects, they have no money to pay them. That shouldn't happen. And that sometimes too, the money is there, they fail to deliver. So we need to balance this thing if we want to ensure value for money. The Ghana Statistical Service, innovation that they have come out with, great one, is going to provide data at the grassroots, help us to deal with certain challenges we have at our districts and all that. A good call. But I think that we should move beyond this. People should actualize this by putting this thing on the ground and let society have a feel of what they've been introduced. More often than not, you see some of these beautiful ideas thrown out, and at the end of the day becomes just a mere document sitting on an old, ugly desk. We don't want that. We want our people to go out there, put it into practice, and then identify the bottlenecks and then build on that. This is how we build a society. A society that will stand the test of time.
Right. And your submission reminded me of the book, Who Moved My Cheese, about technology replacing people for, in terms of in the job markets. I mean, life is constantly evolving. And if you stay at one place, the cheese will keep moving, and you'll be then wondering who moved your cheese. But it's just because you haven't moved along with the times and seasons of the new era that we are in. So
I read a book, and it's talking about is it development
changes,
is nothing but imagination.
Yeah.
People imagine things and bring out things. And at the end of the day, you need to be able to come along abreast with. Once you allow technology to bypass you, you'll be left behind and you won't see development.
Anyway, let me do some quick headlines and then we wrap up. On the custodian paper, SNIT making huge gains. Regions hail Akufo-Addo's DRIP initiative. SNIT unveils transformative digital platforms. We seem to be unveiling a lot of digital platforms these days. Fast track GSCSP project, local government minister tells contractors and MMDAs. On the Daily Searchlight, homeless hawkers take over National Theatre. Let me get into this briefly. It sounds interesting. Sometimes I use that stretch, and I can see that indeed there are a lot of people there who seem like that's where they actually sleep. That story, if I can find it in a bit. Oh, they didn't indicate where it is. Beg your pardon. Just give me a second to get to it. All right, Doc. I can't seem to find that story. But it's a serious issue that the authorities need to take notice of and see how they can fix that situation. That is the National Theatre, It's a beautiful edifice in the center of the city. People should not be living in and around those places. On the Accra Times, you stole our manifesto. NDC accuses NPP. On election 2024, NPP manifesto is an action plan according to Samuel Abujinapo. Apenyo marking tax Mahama to debate inconsistent Baumia. And the Ghanaian publisher says SNIT pays 3.2 billion Ghana cedis to contributors, launches mobile service week. Local government minister demands timely completion of projects. We've gone into that. And regional ministers laud DRIP project. Please give your comprehensive sense of your thoughts and then wrap up for me, Doc.
Right. I will begin by looking at the SNITs and the huge gains that they've made. It's a good thing. We want that state organization to be making gains at all times. When there are difficulties, they should let us know, and we all find a way of dealing with them. But I'll come to this homeless people taking over National Theatre, an important edifice of assault. All right. This brings to sharp focus the idea that this country, we don't care a hoot about the needy, the poor, and the vulnerable. All right. When I was a reporter, I took the trouble to go to Cantamanto. I don't know the situation now. Okay. I saw people at night lying on table tops, and with their children by their side and all that. Have no roof over their heads, and there is no security. Can you imagine that? Lying down there, anything could happen. And I carried a story about that. So I'm surprised that many years on, we still have this thing showing in certain parts of the country. But to be fair to this government, I have seen very close to the Medina cemetery, where a facility they put out for people like that. All right, that is good, and we want more. And we want beyond this skill training, and to equip these people with skills and certain qualities so that they can engage in meaningful jobs. All right. Okay. We will not all the time have this problem on our hands. We need to, and this country must work towards helping these people out. All right. If they have meaningful jobs, they will not come and risk all the way.
Most of them, when you see them, they're selling yam. They've piled, tubers of yam on their arm around that area. It's sad.
Yes. I mean, and you see that those who carry luggage and all that, you talk to them. I go to Medina, I want to have first-hand information, and then you talk to them. Right. You have load they want to carry, and you ask them how much you want to take. Say, how much do you want to give? Can you imagine that? How people will abuse them, will pay them less than what is expected and all that. We need to strengthen all these things. Go to other jurisdictions, I tell you, even if when you are begging for arms, it's a crime, right? And they will take you on. So we need to deal with it. I will touch lastly on majority leader.
Please make it brief for me because we do have to go.
Yeah. Afenyo Markins and the debate is calling between the Dr. Baumia and then John Mahama and all that. Yes, debates are good. They help electors to understand the issues and make informed decisions. But debate do not win elections. The elections are won based on other factors such as the economy, such as constituency-specific issues, jobs, and all that. But the majority leader said something which I found was very, very uncalled for. Talking about whether NAPO is, disrespectful or whatever. You want somebody like that to deliver, if he can deliver the public good and all that. For me, are you saying that it's an admission of all the things people are saying about NAPO? No, you don't go on that tangent. This is something that is becoming albatross around his neck. Right. So you don't have on it to draw attention of the public to it. And in this regard, you are saying that you are endorsing that is true. And that even if it's true, let's go with that. No, we need to be alive to political communication, and it will help us. Thank you.
Dr. Kwame Hassan Asante, thank you so much for joining us to review the newspapers. And he's head for the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Remember that this segment is always brought to you by Endpoints Homeopathic Clinic. Sports is coming up next. Do stay.
Good morning, everyone. Time now to bring you sports here on the AM show with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. On Monday, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, appeared before the Public Accounts Committee and revealed that state broadcaster, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, was paid over $3 million to broadcast the African Games 2023. GBC, through its Director General, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, denied those claims by the minister, stating that GBC benefited only $105,000 from the $3 million the Ministry of Youth and Sport paid. According to him, the rest of the money was paid to third parties.
The benefit total payment to GBCs for GBC's benefit, I repeat, was $105,000, and that is what we got.
Now, but does GBC have any evidence to back what you're saying? Because, I mean, the minister is the one in charge. He has made a statement.
Of course.
What evidence do we have?
We definitely have enough documentation. These monies are not paid in bags. They are paid through the bank. And they are indicated what the money is for. And before we do that, there's a letter we will receive from the ministry telling us whose payment it should be for. And so we don't act on our own, we act upon instructions. And that we have all the documentations, and we have everything in place to show that these monies. You see, public funds are not easily disbursed like that. GBC needs $3 million to do a lot of things. And if we got the $3 million, we would have gone ahead to start spending on GBC's needs, including procuring an OB van. We didn't get that money.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Youth and Sports insists $2.5 million of the $3.6 million they agreed with Ghana Broadcasting Corporation was paid to the GBC directly. In a statement signed by the Minister, Mustafa Yusuf, he says that first, they decided to engage the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation because their quoted figure for the production of the African Games was the least they received, because other organizations was quoting about $6 million. And this is a statement which was released on Tuesday night, where they say, we refer to the Public Accounts Committee sitting on Monday, August 19, 2024, where the Minister for Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, led the National Sports Authority and the National Youth Authority, two agencies under the ministry, to respond to issues raised by the Auditor General. At the sitting, the Member of Parliament from Ningo Pram constituency, Samuel Nate George, asked a question which was on the organization of the African Games and its production. And according to some people who worked on the competition were not paid. So he wanted to understand how much was paid to GBC to broadcast the competition. Now, the ministry's attention has been drawn to comments made by the Director General of the GBC that they did not receive the said amount. We wish to make the following statements to clarify the issues. A, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, through the local organizing committee, received proposals from various stakeholders for the production and broadcasting rights for the 13th African Games. Some organizations submitted proposals in excess of $6 million, which the ministry deemed excessive. Also, the ministry, in its quest to build local capacity and leave a legacy after the 13th African Games, engaged GBC to become the official broadcaster for the Games. The other reason for the ministry's decision was that GBC's financial quotation for production and transmission was the lowest, with the understanding that GBC will use the services of third parties to assist them implement their obligations. The total agreed amount was $3.6 million. Subsequently, an agreement was reached between the two institutions, the ministry and the GBC. So let's go to the next point of the statement, where the ministry said that $2.5 million of the 3.6 was paid to GBC. From the total amount, $2.5 million was paid directly to GBC in two tranches, $1 million and $1.5 million on 13th March 2024 and 22nd May 2024, respectively. Another amount of $1 million was paid to third parties upon the instructions of GBC in accordance with the contract. As a public institution, we are committed to transparency and accountability in the discharge of our mandate, signed by the Minister of Youth and Sports. So that is a reaction from the Sports Ministry to the position of the Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation that they got $105,000 as their benefit for the broadcasting of the African Games 2023. Joy Sports has a copy of that contract that was signed between the two parties, and we'll be publishing that contract on My Joy Online shortly. Reports also suggest that GBC have secured the broadcasting rights of the Ghana Premier League for the next 5 years. We do not have the figures yet, as media reports would not state categorically how much GBC would be paying for the Ghana Premier League broadcasting rights for the next 5 years. Let's move on and bring you other stories, and we go to the camp of Midiama. They will be playing in the Galka Invitational Tournament against Nations FC later today, and their head coach, Nebosha, is anticipating a very difficult game later today.
It was okay. Really, players worked very well, and after Sunday's match, yesterday we worked. Some group worked a little less intensity training, like recovery. Today, all of our players worked very well, and really, I have very good and very well. I have impressions from this training, and I hope we are ready for tomorrow's game. Yeah, Nations team, they have very good team. They have very good players, and I really respect a lot how they are working and how they are playing. That also I expect will be close our last games, because really that was in the game in many phases that was so, and I also expect they will choose similar tactic, but also we have something how to respond and how to set up high football level of our performance, and I think we will catch this, and I also think in this period we will get from this game, I expect.
Okay, final messages for the fans.
Yeah, always I'm really very appreciate how they are giving support to us. I also must tell I am very impressed against Asante Kotoko how they gave us support, and I am calling them to give us support and give support for these players tomorrow, and I promise we will give them very good performance, and we will give them one great night like against Asante Kotoko.
Let's wrap up with some sports buys, and many players are moving because we are in a transfer season, and some are going on loan, some are going on permanent transfer, and in fact the transfer window is going to be closing on Friday, August 30. So let's take a look at some of the moves that are currently happening across Europe. That is your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. But please stay tuned for a special conversation. The voter exhibition exercise has begun. Where have you gone to check your registration and all that? So Sweetie is standing by to give a special conversation, quite educative that would be, so that you will have a perfect understanding as to what is happening as we build up to the general elections later this year.
Many thanks for your time. Remember, this is your election headquarters, but right now on the AM show, we're bringing you an all-important conversation. You know, the voter exhibition enters day 2 today with reports of low patronage and calls on the IGP to stop his men from preventing some NDC agents from observing the process. And we will speak to someone from the EC on this and other issues, but first, let's take that report from Ken Jesse, who visited some exhibition centers in Accra yesterday. And at the time, he reported that just a handful of people had come out to check their details. Let's take a look, and then we'll come back to the studio for that conversation.
Well, this has been the scene at the various EC exhibition centers that we visited. Barely no voter inside to check whether their details are correct. We spoke to some of the EC officials, and this is what they said.
Oh, just only 2 people.
2? Since what time?
Yeah, around 7. One came early in the morning, 7:20, and then the other one came almost 8 o'clock. It was 7:50 something. It's always okay. Previous years, the people, they don't care because they think their names are already in the register, so they don't have to come and waste their time here. So just few people will come, and then that's happened every year.
The people that came here today, did they have any issues with any of their details?
Oh, no, please. Everything was intact. Yeah, everything was okay. But one man and then one woman. But the woman didn't bring card. But once she mentioned the surname, we were able to check.
As of now, we have about 10 people, since we started.
10, all from the same center, or is spread across?
Spread across. Okay. Since today being the first day, it's been a bit of slow start, but we're hoping to pick up.
Now, the 10 people that came, did they have any issues with any of their details?
No problem. Yeah, looking at the time, we have enough room, so we are hoping to get more people by the end of the day.
Well, with the registration exercise lasting for a period of 8 days, it is the hope that as the day goes by, more people will come and check if their details are well captured into EC's database before we head to election 2024. From the Roman Rage Exhibition Center, Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
In the studio with me this morning is Dr. Serbo Kweku, the Director for Training at the Electoral Commission. Doc, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I know you've been here recently, but I must ask, how has it been? A little over a month in your new role as the head of training department for the commission. How has it been?
The grace has always been there.
Yeah?
And God doesn't make mistakes.
God doesn't make mistakes. I like that. So let's start the conversation with, you just saw the reports on low patronage, or the number of people turning out to verify their details ahead of election 2024. What do you make of it?
Good morning to your listeners. And I would say that has been the nature of exhibition. In the last time we had, it was 12% voter turnout.
Right.
But it seems people do not appreciate the essence of the exhibition. And one, we say that you need to go and check on your name, because where you check on your name is where you vote. Most often than not, or more often than not, you see people moving from one center to another during their voting day. It means that they did not go to the center when the voter was exhibited. So, especially now that we did the limited registration at the district offices, and we did a mop-up at electoral area and district offices, You might have mentioned that you wanted to be at Joy News, but maybe the people heard Joy FM. So if you don't go and check, on the day of voting, you will go to Joy News, but your name will be on Joy FM. There's one you go that you request for the move change, so your name will be moved to Joy News as you requested. The other side is that your name may be wrongly spelled. It doesn't affect your opportunity to vote, but where it demands that you have to provide documents that may include the voter's register, the voter ID card.
Right.
What do you mean is that maybe your passport has different spelling from what the voter ID card is. And there have been a lot of instances where people go to the embassies and they'll be referred to go and come with this thing. And it means they didn't take advantage of the inspection. Also, we are all aware that since 2020, a lot of people have been called to glory.
New registered voters.
Yeah, no, I'm talking of those who have passed on.
Okay.
Yes. The register is for the living, not for the dead. So if you have any relation or you know somebody who has passed on, the onus is on you to inform the Electoral Commission so that we'll purge the register of ghost names. Because all the dead people don't vote. So if they're in the register, they rather scale down the voter turnout.
Right.
Yes.
You said this is normal because as at last election year it was just 12%.
Yes.
Is it that, and you also said that people don't appreciate this exercise.
Exactly.
Do you think that the communication of the significance of this exercise has been communicated to the voting population enough that they can appreciate it?
It's not that they don't know, but they are thinking that their names... The issue is that when it comes to voting, if once your name is on it, whether there's an error or whatever, we will allow you to vote. Even when you don't have a voter ID card, but your name is on it, we will be allowed to vote. But I'm talking of, apart from voting, the card may be needed for other issues.
Right.
So in that case, because I've seen somebody's ID card, the person was a male, but it was female.
Okay.
So imagine you are taking that one to the American embassy, what do you think will happen? And in terms of your age, there are a lot of issues.
But those inconsistencies don't affect your right to vote?
Not at all.
Okay.
As for voting, whether my name is given to you, when you go there, everybody knows that Siboko is a male. You still be allowed to vote as long as biometrically you are verified. So voting, it will not have any effect. But where the card is needed for other official documentation, that's where you have the challenges. So now you don't lose anything by passing by. It's an 8-day activity. You pass by, you go and check, everything is correct, then you're free. It's also possible that for some reasons you registered, even you voted in 2020, but your name may not be in the register because of some reasons. You go there, the name will be included. So exhibition is so important that there are people whose name have been captured on the multiple list, meaning that the system says they have registered for more than once. The law also allows you to go and object to your name being on the multiple list. Then you go to the process to explain why it happened at the end. And the district station officer, who is a magistrate, can look at it and say, okay, you should be pardoned. Okay. So your name will be brought back onto the register.
Okay.
I'm aware that somebody, the children of a parent, I don't want to mention the town, succeeded in getting death certificate. Everything went to Senate. They almost succeeded in declaring their father dead so that they can take the benefits.
Wow.
But unfortunately for their children, when I think the check was almost ready, then a friend of the father, they were all teachers, got this, I just saw this man this morning, so it's not true.
Wow.
You get it?
Yeah,
so in such a case, somebody can go and declare you disease when you are still alive.
Okay.
So a lot of things can happen. So go and check and validate your records on the register.
Are you concerned? Is the EC concerned about the turnout then? Are you concerned that last election year was just 12%? And
why not? Because we need people to patronize it so that all anomalies, all errors could be corrected. Because we want to have a clean register. For example, if there are about 10 people in the particular register who have passed on, you know the implication. It means that if you vote, ask for the 10%, that will affect the percentage turnout. Even though the people who are dead. So the more the register is accurate, the more all your figures will be accurate.
How are we escalating, or how are we trying to fix this then?
One of it is the reason why you have got to here.
Okay.
Two, we have out of offices and have a lot of videos. They are moving to churches, markets, and the mosque, and they're doing a lot of education. This time we want to be so sure that we clean the register for proper accountability.
Do you think that what we are seeing now is a reflection of the people's attitude towards this election?
That means that it has been the
trend.
The trend.
All right.
So it's not only for this year.
Okay, and we try to use the short code for the electronic verification.
Yeah,
and there are some inconsistencies, but first let's take that report on the demonstration and then I'll come back to you with follow-up questions. Let's go for that report on the demonstration we did, trying to
*711*51#, then you press the call. And you're waiting, and it says here that welcome to the mobile voter register exhibition service. Enter your 10-digit voter ID number. So I've already copied it and I'm just pasting it here. And it says here, hello Yeboah, you'll be charged 0.50 pesos to receive your voter verification details. So then I press 1 to confirm. Then wait, it says here, after payment confirmation, your voter ID details will be sent via SMS. Okay, and that was really fast. And I put in my Momo details. So now I'm waiting for the deduction message, which I still haven't gotten. It's now 10:25 a.m. I'm waiting on the message. 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, I still haven't even received a message of the deduction or even a message from the EC to make sure that my details in there are accurate.
You don't have to accept things like this because you cost your program. The EC is mandated under law to cost its activities and bring same to Parliament for approval. They have just done that. So we are asking for accountability.
That they should come and account for it or they should stop the charge.
If they want to proceed with it, then they have to come and account for it. Because Parliament cannot give you money to do this and you turn back and charge the people. I am saying that doing this amounts to charging money before persons are permitted to look at their names in the register. That is not acceptable. That is not the legal structure in place.
So let's discuss this. I will come to the issue about the 50 pesos, but first, what explains the inconsistencies in the responses you get? I remember, I think our head of health desk also tried it, and he said he got a message from some Hussein Al-Haji something. What's happening there?
A very prominent media person yesterday sent me a message. One friend, I will show you to you. So instead of 711, she made it 771.
Okay.
Then I saw the feedback that they cannot. Okay, so some of the challenges are because, and I also remember somebody made it 711*71 instead of 51.
Okay.
Yes,
but we got it right.
This is the first time I'm saying this.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And this happened.
You yourself can try it now.
Yes, but she tried it in the morning and she tried again. And so one CD has gone, and as we speak, last night I called her around 9 p.m. just to confirm if she's got any response yet, and she still hasn't got any response.
Maybe that could be a network issue, because it cut across all the networks. So that one is the only network that people that can explain. But this is the first time that I'm hearing this.
Okay. So Parliament has approved the budget for electoral processes for December 2024. Yes. Can you confirm how much has been approved?
I don't have the figures.
Not 786.
I don't have.
You don't have the figures. That's fine. So what is this 50 pesos for?
It's for the service charges. It's for the service providers, not for the electoral commission. It's 50 pesos. A peso doesn't come to the electoral commission. It's for the service charges. And in 2016, it was the same. 2020 is the same, and 2024 is the same.
Are you saying that this has been done in previous election
2016, 2020, 2024, yes. Service charge, you can contact the service providers. But it's for service charges, not for the electoral commission.
Okay. Dapemekwa is asking you to come and account for it.
If we were to be coming to the Electoral Commission, then that is our money that we should account for. But for the service charges. So if you use MTN, the money goes to MTN. If you use TRSL, it goes to a TRSL.
And that has not been catered for in the budget that was approved for electoral processes.
If you're talking budget, the money is coming to the Electoral Commission.
No, but this is part of your electoral activities. This is a way of verifying.
Ours is that go to the polling station to go and check on your name.
Okay.
Then the providers is okay. We can also make this service available to people who cannot go. So if you cannot go, then you are using the service provider facility to check on the name. And that's the charge you pay for using their services.
So your mandate is to ensure that citizens, the voting population, verify their details ahead of the election by going to the polls.
Correct.
You've also provided the polling station.
Correct.
You've also provided an alternative to check electronically.
Yes. If you cannot,
however,
you cannot, the service provider say that they can check through their system to get it, and they will charge you for using their service.
Who's spearheading this? You, the EC, or the telcos?
It's a collaboration between the two of us.
Okay.
But we have to provide them with the data before they can do the checking for you. But I'm saying that not a damn come to the Electoral Commission. So when you check, the 50 first words you pay, it goes to the service provider. If you are using your phone calls and you pay.
Yes.
That is really the same thing. If you should send text messages, you pay, right? It's for them. So it goes to the service providers. Electoral Commission doesn't benefit from that man. So then it is facilitating the work for us.
Great. So the question is, this isn't the first time you're doing it, and you're saying that the money doesn't come to the EC.
Exactly so.
How come you didn't budget for this then? Because it's part of your work that you're doing that you've already asked that the government pay for it.
We budgeted for people who will go to the centers to check on their names, right? That is what is in the law. Right? But alternatively, if you want to sit in the comfort of your house and check on it, then you go to the service provider for them to help you. But even there, when you go there and there's a challenge, you still have to go to the exhibition center before you can change or correct any anomaly.
So minority is saying you should drop these charges.
I'm saying that we are not charging.
So you are not going to drop?
If I'm not charging you, how can I drop it?
Okay.
And then, like I said, you can go, you are supposed to go to the exhibition center to go and check on your name, right? So if you don't want to pay, you go to the exhibition center and check on your name. But if you use the USSD code, you will still have to go to the exhibition center when you have a problem.
Now, there's a claim by some party agents that they're not being allowed to access some stations to observe this exercise. The NDC in particular have raised concerns about that. First, are you aware of it, and what's your response to it?
I'm not aware, but at the pact meeting and the meeting with the media and the rest, we said that the parties have the right to go and observe, because it adds to the transparency of the system. It's only when you go there and you are creating the problem that you ask the party to replace you. So the Commission has given the political parties the right to be represented at the exhibition centers.
So you're not aware that the NDC is making these claims at all, that some police personnel are preventing them from
if we were to be informed about the place, then we can inform the police that this is happening at this center, so we should allow them. But at the press conference, it was made clear to the political parties. Okay,
let's do some public education then. If you're going to verify your details at the polling station, what do you need?
When you are voting, polling station. When you are registering, registration center.
Registration.
When you are doing exhibitions, exhibition center. Okay. So now, the same location, but registration center when it's about registration, exhibition center when it's about exhibition, and polling station when it's about voting.
So what
you do is that you go there with your voter ID card. Then the arrangement of the name will help us to facilitate the process for you. Then you check on the name, your age and your sex, your polling station. If everything is ready, you take your card back, then it will take for you, then you are gone. But if you go there and there's an error on any of your details, then there's a form of correction. If it's about age, if it's about sex, if it's about the spelling of your name and the rest, that one has to be corrected. It could even be the picture is so blurred that you want a better picture. You also check on that. Then if it's an issue about changes on your ID card, then you'll be given a form. We'll call it a form for request for change. Then you send it to the district office. Because in that case, you need to be biometrically verified. Rather than that, somebody who can go and change your details into his or hers.
Yeah.
So if it involves changing anything that was filled your ID card, then you have to go to this office because that's where you can do the biometrics for that to be sure that you are the one. Then you can infer the change.
Aside that, the other changes, will they be done instantly in your presence?
Yes. No, on the register, the corrections will be affected there. But where it is going to affect your ID card,
that's when
then
you
have
need to go
exactly,
back to.
Exactly so. So that is it. If you don't have an ID card and you can remember your voter ID number, it also facilitates it. But you don't have your ID card, you don't have your voter ID number, it will mean that you have to be sure of the name that you use. There are some people with about 3 different names. They will mention one name for you. No. I think I use this name. You check. So that one delays the process. That's why we always recommend that if you are going to go with your voter ID card. But if you don't have it, we'll still go through our name references, which is arranged alphabetically, so that we can still do it for you. But remember that whenever there's the need for a change on anything on your ID card, in that case, you still have to go to the district office. Because that's where you can have the biometrics before the changes are done.
You haven't mentioned Ghana card. Does it mean at this point it's completely, it doesn't work here? It doesn't
Ghana
apply
card
here at
only
all?
is only relevant when you are registering. If you register, Ghana card doesn't come in again, including voting and that. Ghana card doesn't come in.
Okay. So you just need your voter's ID, go to the verification exhibition centers, verify your details. If there are corrections, ensure that if it involves your ID card, you go to the office and they'll do that for you. We will open the phone lines in the course of the conversation. And I mean, if you're watching us and you have questions, it's a public education. You call in and you get to speak to us. But let's move on to some of the concerns that the 2 major political parties are raising. And yesterday, we had the conversation or that in engagements between the EC and National Peace Council. And when you look at the National Peace Council and the NDC,
I thought
it's slip of tongue, beg your pardon. And when you look at the demands the NDC is making, it's as a prerequisite to signing that peace pact. I mean, I can infer that they're just trying to avoid recidivism, repetition of crimes, and they want you to demonstrate your commitment to transparency or earning their trust, which is very crucial ahead of this election. First, what is your assessment or reflection on their demands? And then we go to what the Peace Council is also saying.
I will say that one of the good news to Ghanaians is that NDC boycotted the APAC meeting, but they have been back for more than a year or so now. So now every discussion that we have at the APAC meeting, they are there with us. So for now, I believe gradually we are bonding well. And whenever they have any issues, they bring it to the table. If it is doable, we let them know that we will do it. If it's not doable because of the law, they also let them that. Because of ABC, you cannot do because the law doesn't provide for that. So I think now the relationship is improving. So
are their concerns not justified? I mean, I listened to the chairman yesterday, and he said you engaged some contractors to, offer some support services to the EC, and it didn't go through public procurement processes, and it was done on their blind side. Do you actually have these contractors? Have you contracted some people to assist you with election activities that the public is not aware of?
You see, when we have administrative work, if I'm being employed. When I was employed, the political parties were not informed. I was just interviewed, my appointment letter was given, and I signed. That is administrative issue. If the commission thinks that for this work we need maybe a consultant to support that, we work with the PPA, and all the processes are done, then the person is recruited. We don't inform the political party. It has never happened before.
So you have contractors or consultants,
yes.
And you inform the PPA?
You cannot employ
them.
You cannot employ them without going through the procurement processes. So if anybody has any issue with it, I think they can contact the procurement PPA and see whether we have done the wrong thing.
Are you saying the NDC in that particular regard has no case because they were not supposed to be informed in the first place?
Not at all. When we are doing administrative issues, we don't inform them, no.
But what are these contractors or consultants going to be doing for you, for the EC?
They were recruited because we think that they have skills that are not available in amongst us. So no matter, it has always been so. We have consultants for specific needs of the commission. They come and do it and they are gone.
And then there's the issue about the missing BVRs.
No BVR.
The BVDs, the biometric verification machine.
It's a laptop, not a BVR.
It's a laptop. Okay. So IT devices, like the chairman said. That's okay. And he says that arrests have been made,
yes,
but they do not know. In fact, we do not know for sure where are the devices.
The case is at the courts.
Yes.
The laptop has been stolen, so we have not gotten it.
But you've apprehended the culprits.
Suspects.
Suspects.
Exactly. The court
and they are unable to show you where these devices are?
They are suspects. So you are, something gets missing, you suspect somebody. I don't use myself because I will not come and steal your thing. So the best is the security services investigated it and they handed the case to the court and they were remanded. They have been going to court. I don't know the actual state of the case now, but the case is at the court.
Do you see how this can stir mistrust and unnecessary controversy in the build-up to December elections?
If anybody understands how the BVD and the BVRs work, it will not create any problem. Because if you take the BVR, it's like the briefcase. You have the laptop in it, you have the fingerprint scanner in it, you have the camera in it, and you have the printer and other accessories. And the people took the laptop away. It means that once you take away the laptop, that system cannot operate unless the laptop is replaced. In the same vein, when you take the laptop away, it becomes laptop, no more the BVR. Now, if you take the whole system away, before you can use it, you need to be biometrically enrolled onto it. And you need that is through the UC system. 2, you need the activation code. So once in a while, you realize that even doing the registration, they will tell you that they are not able to activate the codes. So it is going to delay if you have been following registration and the rest. So all these things mean that we have put in place a lot of security measures because once you are dealing with human beings, you don't expect that everything will be the way you want it. These things are bound to happen. But when you take the laptop, even if you take the whole BVR kit, you cannot use it unless you are biometrically enrolled onto it and unless you are given activation code for you to log on onto the system.
And there's no important data on these laptops that could affect or tip the skills in any way?
If you have time, one of these, they come and I'll take you to the ITN for it. Immediately we finish the registration, if you look at the timetable, we have what we call end of date. Or end of life, end of life. What it means is that even though we use this one at the BV code, and there was a link, so as you register, they go into the database. When you finish, we still believe that it could be possible that maybe some data or what they could was not, so they will do end of life. So what the end of life do is that they will go through the process and check whether there are any document that has not been, and immediately you finish with the end of life, it becomes blank because the data is taken off. So once we finish the registration and we do the end of life means that the system is dead. So you can't use it.
And if you're watching us, you can call in and send your questions through. We have some time to get into that. So Dr. Kweku, have you explained this to the various political parties, the NDC in particular? Have you demonstrated to them how the laptop works with and without the other machinery attached to it?
In 2020, I remember when we acquired a new kit, we did it at a Ridge Hospital, Ridge Church. All the political parties were there, we all went through, they were all registered to the process so that they would try whether they can do multiple registration. All those things were done. So they know, and at our ACPAC meeting since 2020, we have been demonstrating to them, so they know.
So what's the what's different now? I mean, you were head of electoral services, although you are head in IT now. What is your assessment of why the NDC is insisting that there's something fishy going on?
Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. I'll look at the advantage side. It makes us sit up. That whatever you are doing, somebody doesn't trust you. So try as much as possible to be transparent, to be accountable, and to be professional. So that is the positive side. But the negative side is that if we become too many, it creates a lot of tension in the system. But sitting here, I speak on authority that those kids that have been taken away can never be used. Because if you want to use it, then you have to involve all our key people. So in that case, why would if I can use it to do something, why would I steal it? You get my point. If I want to do something untoward or mischievous, why would I steal it? Because the system are with me.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So there's no way, and I believe that if anybody is able to trace that these kids have been done, then people in the IT, all of them should be arrested. Yes, because if they have not given you the activation code, they have not enrolled you onto it biometrically, and it's not only one person that does that. So,
you mentioned you used the word trust.
Yes.
So the first question is, do you intend to earn the trust of the political parties going into this December election, and not just for political parties, in fact, citizens, the voting population? Do you intend to do all that you can to earn their trust? And if so, how do you make this issue go away?
We don't target any specific political party, but we try to be professional, accountable, and transparent. You are aware that when we are doing registration, the political parties are given access to the centers. So they are part of the registration. Everything that we do, they can challenge anybody who is not qualified. At the end of every day's activity, we give them the end-of-day report. The end-of-day report will already indicate that today we started registration at this time and end at this time. And these are the people who were registered with their biodata and their ID numbers. We give all these things to the political parties. So if you are doing, let's say, a 14-day activity, if they put the 14 reports together, they have gotten the register for that particular registration.
Okay.
Transparency. When we finish, and we have compiled the provisional register. We give them copies of the provisional register. We ask them to, and recently you heard that they said that we have
there was a delay.
But whatever
what was that? What happened there?
I will explain. But whatever be the case, we have given them. So they can use that to compare with the data that was given to them and the cost of registration. If they see any anomaly, they call our attention to that. Or they can even go to the exhibition center to object to the name, that name is not known, because they have the data.
Copy, yeah.
So all these things are the transparency. The next one is come to the exhibition that we are going to do. We are bringing the register back to you. You are part of the people who compiled the register. Now this is what we have brought. The information that we pick, we have processed them and brought them back to you. If you can identify any name that is not qualified, the law allows you to object to the name. And when you object, it is a magistrate who will sit on the case and adjudicate. Not the electoral commission. Will sit on it and adjudicate. I forgot to say that even in the course of registration, if you suspected somebody to not qualify, you can also challenge the name. That when you challenge, we have what we call this registration review committee. The political parties reps are members of the committee. And the law says that in the course of their sitting, they have the same powers as the district court. Meaning that they can subpoena somebody to come and testify for or against whatever. So all these things are done. Then we do the nomination. That one, now we have uploaded our nomination forms onto the website. This time we are not giving you people so that you say that somebody didn't give you when the electoral commission did not give you, but it's on the website. We give you the code, go and pick it. Then you fill with all the needed documents, you submit it to your return officer. The return officer will take you through. If there are any corrections to be made, you do. If they are not and they accept it, then they will give you, if you fill quadruplicate of the forms, you will be given a copy of the form that you have accepted, because he will sign on it. That becomes your receipt that you are now a candidate. So in case we are publishing and you are not there, but I went through, you gave me this.
So are you saying that you've done all that you can do within your mandate, within your powers as you have it, and so you do not care that the NDC is insisting that...
If we do not care, we will not be holding APAC meetings. We will continue to be engaging.
So the question is, how do you alleviate their pain?
Continue to be transparent, as I was taking to you through the process, and also be engaging them, so that they come with their concerns. That's when we let them know that this ABC could be done because the law allows that. E, N, F, and G cannot be done because the law doesn't allow that. Everything that we are doing is governed by law. So you cannot go outside the law. So we want to engage them. When it comes to printing of the ballot papers, we are with them at the printing houses. We print, we give them the serial numbers. So before the materials will go to the field, they know that for this particular region, serial number A to B are going there. And when we are conveying them, they escort us. So they are also with us. When we go, we hand over hours to our region director.
Right.
They also hand it over.
Okay.
So everything is transparent. And in the course of election, there is an open, it is done, counting is done open, the creation is done open, they are giving copies. So we'll continue to be.
Okay, so the demands that the NDC is making, these 6 demands for the prosecution of perpetrators, I want to just get that. So the implementation of the ALSO West Wogon recommendations, the prosecution of 2020 election violence perpetrators, investigation into the missing IT equipment at the Electoral Commission, accountability for irregularities in ballot printing, and the President's public commitment, not just the President, public commitment to respect election outcome and inclusion of key security and justice officials in the Peace Pact. The National Peace Council says they are going to negotiate these demands. What is the challenge in implementing these demands that needs negotiation?
Which one affects the Electoral Commission? We can only speak.
Investigation into the missing IT.
In our case, that's what I said. That we don't have the skill to do the investigation. That's why we reported the case to the security services, and they've done that, and some people have been.
Right, but your outfit is also committed to free and fair elections.
That's why
and so if then, yes, absolutely, that's fine. But if the NDC, one of the major political parties and, opposition party, is saying that they do not want to sign a peace pact because of these reasons, as the Electoral Commission, are you concerned at all that this is coming up? And the Peace Council is saying we want to renegotiate, but it doesn't look like they want these demands to be negotiated. They just want them to be met. Otherwise, they're not committing to signing the peace pact, which in fact, that's not actually say that it will, stir violence, but it takes something out of the peaceful and free, fair elections that we want to have in December.
I wouldn't want to be involved in the peace pact because Electoral Commission is not part of that. But as I said, and I will continue to say, it is our responsibility. The country has given us a responsibility, and we ensure that we will act professionally and conduct transparent, free and fair elections. That's the most important thing that we will do. So once we do that, then if anybody wants to challenge it, the court is there for them to. So our mandate and always our dream is that we should do the right thing, so that in case somebody tries to challenge the case, you go and read that you have been vindicated. And since 92, every election somebody will go to court.
True.
Yes, and that is the beauty of the democracy. If you don't understand it, resort to the court. We go to the court and there's something wrongly done to be rectified. So that's where my focus will be.
Let's pivot to the other political parties, the minority political parties. What is the arrangement for them?
Let's say other political parties.
Other political parties. Yes. They're not minority.
They don't want to hear small.
Yeah, they don't want to hear small or minority.
But so they were saying that they all pay the same deposit.
True. And if they are minority or smaller, then the fee should be reduced for them.
No, that's what I'm saying. We treat them as political parties.
Okay.
And the irony of it is that most often than not, NDC people will get their monies back. That is the other parties rather who will lose their money to the state.
That's
so
true.
They should be listening to, because they will rather will lose their money if they don't get the 25% for presidential and 12.5% for the parliamentary.
What's the arrangement for them?
The same procedure. We don't treat them separately.
Okay.
We treat, if it is payment, if it is meeting, whatever it is, we treat all political parties as political parties. We don't have, in our records, we don't have bigger or smaller party, no. Or majority or minority party, no. All parties are the same, equality before the law.
Right. We knew that about 9 or 11 of political parties or independent candidates, 12
political parties.
Okay.
And the last time I checked, I think we had 19 people who have picked the, it's one thing picking the form, one thing filing. But the independent presidential candidate have, for that reason, they were about 19.
19 independent presidential candidates.
Well, who have picked the form. Because when picking the form, you don't pay anything.
Yeah. If when you are going to file, that is when you pay something.
Yes. So some people pick, but they will not file.
Should we be capping the number of people who can pick up forms and contest as independent candidates?
Democracy is expensive. Democracy gives the right to everybody once the person qualifies. The Constitution says the person should be at least 40 years. He should be a taxpayer. Should be not be holding any allegiance to having any allegiance to any country. Blah blah blah. So once the person qualifies, I know you don't qualify because you can't be 40. But if you are 40,
I might surprise you.
No, you can be at 40.
Right.
And I will be very, very surprised if you are not.
Yeah.
So if you are 40 and you can garner people to support you and the rest, why not? So you don't need...
The laws don't say anything about it, but should we be looking at it? Until one day we wake up and about 150
if you are going to cap it, are you not going to
file
give people their right to contest? If you want to cap it...
Maybe a strategy to streamline, more than being 40 and above, and if you can pay for the form and all that.
But that's what they have given a deposit. They are depositing for it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm asking if we should be reviewing these strategies.
Assuming you are to take this, how are you going to disqualify other people? How are you going to do that?
Okay.
Because if you want to hold the right of the people, the right to contest an election is also a right.
Okay.
So you don't put impediment on the person. Unless the person is not qualified because it's not 40 years, whatever, that's fine. But I don't think you can.
Okay. But we know, so now 19 people.
I've witnessed an election with 72 candidates.
Okay. And it didn't spoil anything?
At all.
No problem. And we have over 600,000.
I'm not saying we should go there.
Well, if we are not capping them in, and if we are practicing democracy and it allows it, then let's see how that goes. Over 600,000 new registered voters this year, 19 independent candidates picking forms not filed. Confirm for me the total number of registered voters as we speak.
I can't give the exact figures, but I know in 2020 there were about 70 million plus. I don't remember the addition, but it was less than 10,000, but at least 17 million. The other one was 910,000. That was 2023. Then the recent limited receipt was about 777,000. Yes, and the mobile was about 92,000.
But you just gave a copy of the registered to the political parties. Isn't there a total?
No, but I don't handle such things.
Right.
So that's what I have idea about the figures. But some of these people would have been challenged. Some of them would have been put on the multiple list, and that's why I can't be specific about the figures. But
we do want to know. So maybe we contact you later.
I've given you the figures. You can calculate and get that idea.
Let's do it.
Yes, I said.
So 17 million from 2020.
Yes. Then 910,000.
910,000.
777,000.
777,000.
Then 92,000.
92,000.
But there are other figures here, so that will give an idea about.
Just a second, let me do this quickly because I'm curious to know how many people are registered to vote. So 19 million.
It's 17 million, no?
17 million plus 9,100.
910,000.
910,000. Okay, my math is not good. Let's continue. So they're helping me in the back room to do that, and so they'll give us the figures.
But that is
so just to go over it, we have 17 million from 2020, 910,000. Yes, 77,000 plus 77,000 plus 9,200, 92,000.
But so these are provisional.
Okay, these are. Remember that you can call in and ask your questions. The phone lines will be on your screens. So what is the preparations for election 2024 so far? So at this point, what are the next steps that we should
we are finishing the exhibition on the 27th of this month. So I'm using your facility again to appeal to Ghanaians that they should not underrate the essence of the exhibition. They should go and check, verify their details and be sure that everything is intact. Then they can now sharpen their fingers for their thumb printing. After this, from 9th to 13th of September, we will now receive the nominations. So now they are downloading and filling.
9th to 13th of September, right.
That's when they will submit them. The presidential one will submit them at the head office because the chairperson is the return officer.
Please hold for me. The total number is what, 18 million? Oh, I thought you were giving me the figure. Okay. Please go on.
The presidential one will be submitted at the head office because the return officer is the chairperson of the commission. Then each constituency, we now have 276. It used to be 275 plus 1 into bracket SAR. So now 276, and each constituency will be receiving the form from their constituency candidates. The one that is done, then we'll move on to the balloting for positions.
Right.
You know that for transparency, after the filing of the nomination, we'll ballot for the position on the ballot paper. So that one, what happens is that you first do the balloting. The first balloting will be determine who to pick first, who to pick
yes.
Then do the second one based on the who to pick first, and then you pick, and what you get now will be your position on the ballot paper. Transparency. We don't determine who should be number 1, who should be number 4, whatever. So that one to the parties. Previously, because we were not balloting, some people will be sleeping at our offices because they want to be first.
Yes.
All these things have been done.
So I'm told it's 18,079,000 registered voters. Provisional registered voters. 18,079,000 provisional registered voters. Yes. Okay.
So I want to emphasize the provisional. So when the figures come and there are small variations, we are not taking on.
But it won't be more or less than this.
That's around it.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Are there any challenges, budgetary challenges, monetary challenges that the EC is
when we draw the budget, there are budgets for different activities. So when it is registration, the money will be given. When it is for exhibition, the money is given. So the monies are paid as and when they are demanded. To the best of my knowledge, we haven't had challenges.
Okay, so as we speak, you just got your money for the exhibition. And
I don't know whether we have requested for, so I can't say that. Once you request for, we will not know what that will be.
Okay.
Normally, we don't get into challenges with that.
We do have our first call on the line. Hello, good morning. Where are you calling from?
Kasua, I'm calling from Kasua.
Okay, so what's your question?
Yes, the position of the EC on the use of indelible ink. Because there are rumors and counter rumors that some people register double in people. So I strongly believe that if you use indelible ink on one station, the person or the intruder will not or cannot vote again. So my question is, why the EC is not using indelible ink?
Thank you. I think you already said that you were not going to abolish the indelible ink, but please, you can reiterate that.
Yeah, so first, he made a statement that somebody might have registered more than once. The system says that the moment you register more than once, that's who have the multiple list. The system will push you to the multiple list, and you are not active. So your name will not appear at all for you to go and vote for more than once. Once you have involved yourself in more than one registration. So that is the point. The second point is that the indelible ink, we were thinking that with the biometrics, once you are verified, nobody can use the same name again.
Yes.
That's why we wanted to abolish it. But people say that at IPAC meeting, some of them were saying it's an evidence to show people that you saw permission, you have gone and voted. So we are allowing it to work. So we'll use the indelible ink for the 2024 elections.
Okay. The number has been updated. My backroomers, they are very busy. They want us to get it right. 18,779,000 provisional total number of registered voters as we speak. 18,779,000 people. And so, I mean, the logistics, arrangements, money, and everything is in place. What about?
As I speak, we've trained our exhibition officers, and exhibition has started. When they finish, they will be paid.
Okay.
And we'll move on to the nomination.
How many?
Which was the nomination?
Yes. No, how many? You said you've trained your officers. Officers.
We
How
have
many officers?
around 41,000 exhibition centers, and each one is manned by one person. And out of the 268 these offices, we have one supervisor for each of them and 2 assistants. So these are the numbers.
Okay, so 40...
It's about 41,000.
41,000.
Yes.
And issues about remuneration and payments for these officials.
You want to tell that how much they're going to
You don't want to do that. You don't want to disclose how much.
I don't think you're happy to tell me your salary.
No, I won't tell you that.
So the same way.
Okay,
so,
but
the
arrangements on how to compensate them.
We pay them through the banks.
Okay.
We pay them through the banks.
And there are no issues there.
Once the accounts are correct, your money will hit your account when we release the money.
Okay. So about earning the trust of the political parties, you've spoken about that because you're being transparent with the processes so far. How about the citizenry? All these issues register as, controversies and mistrust, and whether it's party propaganda or not, we are hearing and reading these stories every day online. What is the plan to ensure that the citizens trust the credibility, the integrity of the Electoral Commission? And then please hold for me. Let's take that other caller and then we'll come back to that. Hello, tell us your name and what's on your mind.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Abogro Felix, calling from Zedila, Boku West.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I want to find out as to whether the closing time, they have confirmed the closing time for the elections.
Have they?
It's still 5 o'clock as per the law.
So 7 to 5.
Exactly so.
So it starts at 7 a.m. and closes at 5 p.m. as per the law, like you said. Thank you so much for calling.
All right. Thank you.
All right. How are you ensuring that the people trust in the credibility, integrity of the Electoral Commission?
One of it is what we are doing. Continue to explain that. And personally, my joy is that our system is so stakeholder involving that even when it comes to counting of the ballot papers, at the polling, if you observe, once you start, the public will be doing the counting for you. You say, well, and then it becomes a chorus. Everybody will count in. When you finish, we declare. We have asked them to paste a copy of the results at the polling station. Then when you finish, they send them to the constituency centers where the coalition will done with involvement of the political parties. If the party, if done and the parties want to request for a real coalition to be done, when that is done, the forms, appropriate forms are filled. There too, they sign, they are giving copies and we paste them. You go to the region, the same process. Go to national, the same process. So everybody is involved, including you, the media. And you, at least I can cite the joy for 2020, 2016. That before the commission came out with the final result, you have already called the results. So you knew the winner before the commission came about. And that is the transparency aspect that we are talking. We are not hiding anything from me. That is why the media is able to have an idea about the possible winner of the election before. So, and it has never happened that what the media projected was different from what the commission projected. And the civil society organizations, the observers too, they also do their projection. Because they will do their projection and it's always the same. It has never changed. It has never changed. So that tells you that the system is so transparent and accountable.
What contingency plans does the EC have in case of unforeseen events such as extreme weather? And sometimes the counting of ballots goes deep into the night. There could be power outages and all that. What provisions have you made to cater?
We also have lanterns for, do I call lantern, but light. It's a mobile light. We send them to the polling station for them to do that. Technically, because we have reduced the threshold for polling station to 750, if everybody were to be there, 750 would not take more than 3 hours. If you are to even start voting at, let's say, 10, and everybody were to be there by 1, we should have concluded. So going into the night, there are extreme cases, and if something happened, or some people intentionally go to the center. Some have
But we've seen some before.
No, people said they were not using the same threshold.
Okay.
So if you look at the 2020, we didn't have that challenge. And we have maintained the same figure for 2024. So we are not expecting election to go deep in the night, unless some people go there late, maybe almost 5 o'clock, then about 100 people rush there, then automatically. But if people are going there, so because, and the speed and the efficiency of the BVD, it said that you don't waste much time at the polling station. So if you check the 2020 elections, in between the people were not voting, but we had about 80% turnout. Because the system was so fast that you hardly see queues there. Right? So that's exactly what we are going to repeat. So all things being equal, about 90% or more of them will finish before 7. Obviously, by 6 days to have been done.
That's all things being equal. But then how do you plan to communicate real-time information to the public on elections?
At the polling station, real-time, counted, delivered. For constituency, counted, collected, delivered. For the region, for the district. And this time, what Commission is planning to do is that for the constituency, regional and national collated result will be uploaded onto our website before the final result is declared. So by the time
we can monitor the results in real time on your website.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But for the polling station one, because of the numbers involved and because they are hard copies that you need to scan the rest, we will not be able to upload all of them. But the polling station results reflect in the constituency one. So once you get the constituency, you have that. Then within the 21 days that you can file the petition, we would have also uploaded the 41,000 polling station results there. So that if you need them for your petition, you can also have them. So we are going a step further to increase the transparency.
Is that a plan to fix the gap of inconsistencies in the numbers? Because, even before we talk about the numbers, during the primaries, I was out there myself and I saw that there was a delay in the registration process or something because they were waiting for a link. And everything we've spoken about so far is like all things being equal. But what is the plan in case of delays? And
you were there at where?
Yes, I was at Anya Soto Moso, and they hadn't. Say again. Yes, the primaries.
Primaries?
Yes, primaries. Yes.
Oh, what link are you talking about?
Let me explain. So, as at 10 a.m., the people hadn't started printing the cards for the new voters also. And because they said they were waiting for a link. Yes.
Primaries for political parties, though.
Okay, not primaries then. After the district level elections, what's the other election that's...
That's the general election that we are going to.
No. Then I think it's the district level elections. There was a delay. I was there. It's just the details are lost on me because it's been a while ago.
The problem was with respect to the BVD.
Yes.
Activation code that I was talking about.
Activation
code.
Yes,
so if you don't get activation code, you cannot use the BVD.
So what I'm saying is that everything you've said so far is the plan.
Yes.
For all things being equal.
Yes.
What is the contingency plan for in case of delays, in case...
You see, there is, because of the suspicion, that's why we need to give them activation code on the day of election. So that it will not be like somebody has been using the machine. Right? So when you are given the activation code, it's just through the text message, whatever. So this time around, I will not put what we are planning to do to the purpose. So maybe somebody will also go and find me. But we will try and activate them early enough so that we can have the process. But these are all security measures that are put in place. Because if you don't use the activation code, it means that like somebody who has stolen the BVD can be using it to do whatever he wanted to do. So we will still use the activation code, but we know we will have to go around the site to not delay and they can.
We're just about wrapping up, but so what are the mechanisms in place to address disputes, to handle potential security issues and all that?
Security issues are, we have the election security task force headed by the IGP. So they will be able to explain the security because the commission is not in charge of security. The law has handed over security of the elections to them. Ours is to do the election administration. And when it comes to our work from what I've taken you through, as for you, the media, you are part of the processes. But the difficulty is that at times, because of being insulted and the rest, even when you know the facts, you don't want to put them...
That doesn't apply to us here at Joy.
Oh.
we are fearless.
Because I remember in 2020, I was with I don't know what I say, Israeli. At a point, he even asked him, it seems like you have not eaten. He went and bought me lunch. Oh. He was in my office to at the process. So I remember at the point in time, they were saying that even the results was declared somewhere, and he came out and said that no, he was there when the results are declared. So that is the transparency aspect I'm talking about.
Let me stay on that a bit, the declaration of results. And sometimes it delays, which creates a lot of tension, unnecessary tension. What is the plan here too?
We should hasten slowly. If you are not sure of the figures, we will not put it forward. So depending, and we are taking results from all over the country, including the Draft Island, whatever. In 2020, we were fortunate for the high effort to lifted our people there and back. So they were one of the first constituencies to be, because this year I heard they were also happy. But every nick and corner of this country, we are going there. And we need the result from all those. So once more, something happens small, we have to wait for it. But the 2020, we did it before 48 hours.
And you have sufficient enough personnel to handle all these without any issues?
So we have 41 times multiplied by 5. That gives you the number of people who go to the field. Okay. And that's more than 200,000. We will train them and
when does the training start and end?
No, we'll finish with the exhibition, we'll finish with the nomination, then we'll start with the training of them. So somewhere maybe in October.
October.
This time, I can assure you that not less than 2 months to election will be ready.
Okay. I mean, you have to be careful giving us dates because we'll hold you to it. And we've seen that sometimes it's not, I mean,
I have not given specific, I said at least.
Sometime in November, no problem,
yes.
That's okay. And we're about wrapping up. What would be your final words and message to our audience ahead of December?
What I would say is that the Commission, as usual, will do what is required of them professionally to ensure that the election is fair. But we should also understand that no matter what, somebody will win the election and others will also lose. Assuming we have 10 candidates, it's only one candidate that can win. And once the person wins fairly and freely, we move ahead and accept and prepare ourselves to that. But the youth, if anybody will want to be mischievous, cause violence, whatever, it is the youth that to be used. And when you are youth and you get into conflict with the law will handle you, and you may not see the person who pushed you to go and do what is wrong. So
and they say ignorance is no excuse, right?
Exactly. So
now that we have, sorry, let me
brains.
interject. Now, because we are talking about youth, now that you are saying that you will be prosecuted, if you commit a crime, you'll be penalized. Are you using the youth are more technologically savvy? They are always on social media. Are you exploiting this means to ensure that they are abreast of the electoral processes and what do's and don'ts? I mean, come December 2024, especially because we have nearly 1 million of these new voters.
For the last 3 days ago and yesterday, Dubawa fact check was doing something, and it was for first-time voters, and I participated. So we took them through, myself, NCC, and others. We took them through all these things. So they should be listening. The issue is that after crime, you don't need to be informed that this is not crime. Don't go and do it. Go and be somebody. You don't need me to come and tell you, don't go and fight. But nobody should use the strand of the hair because of this election. It doesn't pay. It's not worth of. That's my advice to everybody.
Dr. Soribo Kweku, the head of training department at the Electoral Commission, thank you so much for shedding light on the electoral processes, your preparations, and all things important on the AM show.
You are one of the people who get my name right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm glad for that.
I will give you much.
I will follow you for it. Right, so right before we go, get ready for the Pastors Kids Conference 2024, the Legacy Edition. Are you a child of a pastor, preacher, or a Christian minister? You are not alone. Join other pastors from all denominations for the Pastors Kids Conference 2024 under the theme Legacy. The host is Apostle Francis Ajinasari, and this event is coming off on the 24th of August 2024. It's happening at the Perez Dome at the Jolu Junction right here in Accra, and it starts at 9 a.m. prompt. There will be song ministration by Kofi Owusu-Pepra and Nyam, Mrs. Elijah Nasari, PKC Choir, and others. And it is absolutely free. You want to take advantage of that. And it will be an exciting time for networking, music, learning, and empowerment. Registration for further inquiries, you can simply call or WhatsApp them on 0550-068-632. Remember, it is absolutely free. This is the Pastors Kids Conference 2024, the Legacy Edition. Hopefully, you'll see you soon. There's still more coming your way on the AM show. You don't want to go away. We'll be right back. You're still watching the AM show right here on Joy News. And on the same issue about the NDC's demands and the responses of the National Peace Council, let's go on the phone and speak to Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, and he's president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference. Most Reverend, thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Thank you, too, for inviting me.
Great. So I'm sure you've been following the demands that the NDC has been making on the demands on the back of signing a peace pact ahead of election 2024, and the response from the National Peace Council, who say they want to renegotiate or negotiate further these demands. First of all, what is your assessment of the situation?
Well, first of all, I would say that what the NDC is saying are legitimate. Because we know that when you want peace, then you must ensure justice. Peace is very often, and in most cases, predicated on justice. When justice is done, which very often tends to be something that is objective, then peace tends to be established very easily. Now, having said that, the requirements that the NDC is expecting, as we have heard, does not mean that nothing is being done. I don't know. But if nothing is being done about the cases that they have mentioned, then the earlier we start doing something about it, the better.
Right.
The election practices or the killings that happen here and there, something must. But we cannot say that nothing is being done. And there are cases which one government has handed over to other governments. And some of these criminal cases, from at least those of us who are not legal experts, what we know, sometimes they drag on. But we believe, and we would like to suppose, that something is being done. But if nothing at all is being done about this, then it's a matter of grave concern.
You're saying that something is being done, but the NDC is saying that it is not enough. And there have been recommendations. In fact, in a bit, I'll put up the actual demands that they are making. They've been saying that in order to prevent these crimes from repeating, they want a demonstration of the commitments of first the National Peace Council, the President, and all these other key, very significant key stakeholders to also show their commitment. So they're saying they want to see the full implementation of the investigations of Ayawaso West Wagon investigations. They're also saying that they want to see initiation of prosecution in all the violence at the last election. Quote, we want to see prosecution of the printing of ballot papers. We have not heard anything on it. We want to see action, otherwise they will do it again. And that's the point, recidivism. They're also saying the case of missing the missing IT equipment from the warehouse of the EC must be looked into. And I just had a conversation with Dr. Serwokweku, and he says that investigations are ongoing. And the NDC is saying they believe that IT equipment are not missing. So where are the equipment? And when were the suspects caught? Our confidence in the EC has been shaken. Again, they're saying that you need to put our hearts at rest that nothing untoward is happening with our IT systems. Look into it. Appointments to the EC too. We raised issues with that. We produced evidence that they were full NPP people, and still they are the EC. And Dr. Serwokweku is saying that when it comes to employment and engaging consultants and contractors, they do not need to let the political parties in on it, only the PPA. Their fourth demand is saying that we want the president to state openly that he will respect the outcome of the 2024 election. And also, this is coming on the back of some of the utterances the president has made, that they will not hand over power to the NDC. And their fifth demand is that they want to see the IGP, the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, the National Security Coordinator sign the Peace Pact before they see that document and also sign it. And their last demand is that they want Well, that was their last demand. So, Reverend Matthew Jemfi, the question now is not that the Peace Council is not doing something or, nothing is being done at all, but there are specific demands that the NDC are making. First, do you see the wisdom behind these demands? And how do we even navigate from here?
Well, you see, when there are certain issues that are left hanging, then you give room for people to be suspicious and to be afraid. So some of these issues, what is being done in the current context could be broadcasted to the whole nation, by the appropriate leaders, like the Electoral Commission can say something. The criminal or the Attorney General can say something about what is being done. Where are we with respect to the prosecution of those who have murdered other people? Those who murdered, they necessarily do not have to be NDC members who were murdered or MPP members who were murdered, but they were murdered in the course of the election. They can tell us something about that openly. The machines that were missing, if they have arrested people, what is the state of the investigation now and what is being done? These things are not that expensive to do. It can be done. Now, when these things are being done, the issue of the president signing and the IGP and all those things will not be necessary because everybody will see that there is a transparent process already in place. And then those who are culpable are being punished and executed, rather than executed. And the plans that are there are executed. As to whether the president will say that he will hand over this or that or not, it's a non-issue because he has no authority to say that he will hand over. There are laws, it's already there. So we don't have to sign another deed, agreement, etc. here and there on those issues. If you lose, you hand over. And Ghanaians are not going to tolerate that from any politician or anybody who thinks that I've lost the election, I'm not going to hand over. Right. In the same manner, Ghanaians are never going to tolerate anybody who resorts to violence because you're a politician or you have lost an election. We are tired of that. And we are not, Ghanaians are tired of that. And we are not going to solicit to any of those things. There may be few people who may make noise, but we are not going to tolerate those things in Ghana any longer. The Ghanaian populace will not accept violence or anything. So all the agencies must do their part. Let the IGP or whoever is investigating these crimes, let them come out and tell us where we are. Let the Electoral Commission tell us where these machines are, those who are arrested, what is the position now?
Right.
Now, when we do these fair things, which are justice issues, you see that the rest, the NDC and all these things that they are saying, they will be disarmed. They won't have any cause to say, this is why we want the president to do this or the IGP to do this. What causes do you have to? But there must be transparency.
Reverend Jemfi, so essentially you're saying that you support the call of the NDC that these demands must be met before they sign this peace pact. However, the National Peace Council is saying they need to negotiate these terms. Your voice matters in this country, in these electoral processes. What do you suggest? How do you suggest we navigate this?
Yeah, you see, what I'm saying, that's what I'm trying to say. Let the whole nation get to know that something is going on. The issues do not have to be resolved before the elections or even probably immediately after the elections. Because of the processes that some of these things go through, sometimes they are very, very complicated. Sometimes probably they are doing some investigations. They are doing this and that. Let us know what is going on. Ghanaians, we have the right to know what is going on.
Right.
Now, when these things are done, or at least they tell us these things, which are not difficult to say, the NDC, whether they agree or do not agree, will not have any basis to make these demands. But once these things are not done, then we get into this situation where they say, okay, you see this, nothing is being done, nothing is being done. But is it true that nothing is being done? So what is being done, let them tell us. Then we will all fall on the NDC and say, hey, these demands that you are making probably are unreasonable. Don't you see, haven't you heard, don't you see the evidence that these things are going on? So why are you afraid? Why do you resort to this?
Well, thank you so much, Most Reverend Matthew Jimfi, for adding your voice to this conversation. And he is the president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's bring you another installment of Just Turned 18. Our very own Lois Shola Adeyemi interacts with young head porters in search for the real factors pushing these young women away from their homes and roots, and how their struggles here in the South are shaping their choices ahead of the December polls. Here's Just Turned 18 for you.
Hello and welcome to Just Turned 18, where we gauge the pulse of first-time voters on issue that will determine their decision in the voting booth come December 2024. Now, the last time you saw us, we were with these beautiful people. They are friends. You've already seen them already. So obviously, you know what we are going to talk about. The last time you saw us, we spoke about the educational system of Ghana, specifically the free SHS policy. Today, we are speaking about the bread and butter issues. When I say bread and butter issues, I am talking about the things that made these young ones move from the north to the south. What are some of the issues that moved them here? I am curious to find out, and I'm ready to have this conversation. But before we do so, let me say a very big thank you to my sponsors, Star Ghana Foundation, Youth Bridge Foundation, Petrosol, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, together with the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, to the German Ozone Medical Center, and to Chobok Technologies for making this possible. Now, as I said, we are ready to discuss this, and they are ready for me. You already know them, so let's get talking to them. Hello, my lovelies. Today we are not shaking, no. Today we are jumping. Let's jump a little. Let's shake the body, shake the body, shake the body, shake the body. Rama, I heard that some of you are footballers. How do we dribble? The dribbling. I like that. I like that. All right. I like that we are all happy and we are all calm now. But let's get into our conversation. So the last time that we spoke, you ladies told me that you have benefited from the PSHS policy, right? Today we are going to find out, why is it that after the free SHS we haven't continued, and why did we have to move, from the north to the south? I want to find out some of the things that moved us from the north to the south. So when I say to the south, I'm talking about Accra here, Accra every day. So I'm going to come to all of us so we can find out why we haven't continued the schooling.
Because of financial problem. When I complete school, my father and my mother, they divorced. We are 9. Only my mother too, she can take care of us. I'm the third born of my family. When my father divorced my mother, and we are 10, and my mother sent us to her family, and we are staying there. We are 9. I'm the third born of my family. My mother too, she's old. She can take care of us. And my brother too, he ran to Galense and left with us. We are 8 girls, 1 boy. And me too, I ran to Accra. One of my sister too, she's at Senior High. And me too, I'm taking care of my mother and my sisters. I moved to Accra and I was doing kaya, small. When I get some small money, I will send it to my mother, and I will send small to my sister at school, and she will use it to buy gari, soap, and her pad, and those things. That's how I was doing.
You could have gone to university, but you sacrificed that to come here to take care of, your family back home. All right, let me come to you, Mary. Is that the same thing for you?
Yeah. When I completed senior high school, my mother passed away, and we are 5 in number. I'm the second. born. So when I completed, how to get money is a problem. So I have to move here to work small, to carry kaya, to get money small. So, and you know now, how to feed education is not easy. If you don't have someone to support you, you are going to struggle a lot.
But I want to ask, why kaya? Why is that? You just said you came to find work. Why kaya?
Because how to find a work is difficult. I don't know anybody. I don't have any relative here. So I have to carry kaya. You know, for kaya, they immediately just move here. You can go and buy pan. After buying the pan, you put it on your head. You're about to go.
I see that. Now, let me come to you, my dear. Also share with me your experience. You could have furthered your education, but you are here. Why?
Because the reason why I complete and I didn't go and I didn't further the education is that me is the firstborn, so my mother and my father, they are there. But my father is not having seriously because the farmer, my mother always go into the farm more than my father. So that's why we don't have money to plan the farm anytime. So that's why I come here and be carry the kaya. The reason why I'm here is that in case if I roam and get some few money, I will send it to them so that they can also go and farm some acres so that they can also plant some maize and eat and live, because my youngest are there, they can also chop it and eat. That's why I'm here.
So you skipped education.
That's why I didn't further the education.
I see that. Okay, now let me come to you, Rama. Is that same for you, my dear?
Yes.
And share your experience with me.
The time I grew up, my mother passed away, leaving my father. Now my father too is an old man. She can't go to farm. I have to come to Accra and look for money. If I get something, I'll send it to her to prepare food and eat.
Did you also try looking for other jobs and it didn't work?
No, because the time that I complete, I don't have, my math is no good. It's this kaya that carry the kaya and go and register the mass and road. Now I get it, but I don't have money to further education, so I have to still carry the kaya.
I see. But Rabiatu, why didn't you look for a job in the north? And you had to travel all the way from there to Accra to come and do kaya?
No, there's no work for us to do it. That's why we are here. It's only farming. The farming too is just 1, 2, 3 acres. If someone is just doing it, you go and pair with the person to do the work. You will work and become tired by the end. If the person give the thing to you, the person will give it to you, but still they go and be backbiting you. Because my parents, they are poor, they don't have, but that man too is also better than my parents. If I go and help them and do the money and do the work and get the money, they will give it to me small, but not enough to me. So that's why I run to this place. I use my energy to carry kaya. If I get some small money, I give it to my mother too. Now my father is no more there. My father passed away and leaving us. So I give the money to my mother to do this thing, to go and now the person place that I always go and be doing the work. Now give my mother money to go and buy it than me go and be working there. Because now if my mother send the money, it will get that money and that makes enough to come and prepare food and eat. That's why I'm here. And I'm here, I want money to go to school, but because there's no work there to do and my mother too don't have money to take care. Now my father is no more there. That's why I am here, because if I get the money, I'll go to school, but still there's no work for me. And I'm still carry kaya.
All right. Now, Arama, did you also look for a job in the north and didn't get and decided that, okay, Accra will be my option?
Yes. Over there are no jobs. If you even get jobs, they will not, the amount they will pay you, it will not be enough for you. I've graduated, I have good grade, but because of poverty, my mother cannot provide me. We are many. She can't provide for me to go to continue my education. So I have to come to Accra to do kaya. So if I get money, I'll go and continue.
All right. Now, Nahima, why Accra? Because as I said, I've asked all of them, why did they decide to leave the north to Accra? But you also could have gone to do kaya somewhere else. Why did you decide that, okay, Accra?
Because I don't know any else apart from Accra. Accra that they normally come and do kaya. When I completed school, my parents, they are poor, so I have to come and do kaya so that I'll get some small money and go and add to what they have so that they'll come help me to also further my education. So
I see that.
That's why in Accra.
That's why you're in Accra.
Yeah.
Now, please share your experience with me. I come to you. Let me understand. Did you try to find a job in the north? And even if you didn't try that and you came to Accra, why Kayaye? And why did you even try looking for any other job opportunity in Accra?
The reason why I moved from north to south was that financial problem, because my father passed away when I was still in JHS1. So when I finished, I have senior brothers, and I'm the third person of my mother, third born of my mother. And so these people, some of them will even say that, like, if they have money, they would rather use the money and go and buy goats and come and put it in their, come and just leave it in their house, and they go to be giving birth or reproductive. It's better than they using their money to pay girls' school fees. That because girls are no useless. They don't, like, if you help them to go to school, they will, they would rather go and marry. They will not take care of the family. So that's why I moved from north to south, because it's not good in the north. And aside that, Kwampo, if you're in the north, how to even get this one, how to even get money to do your things, it's not good. You will not even get money. And so the boys too, like, they may say that, oh, I want to help you. If you agree with me and I'll marry you, I will let you further your education. No, they are lying, because they will rather impregnate you and run away. They will never take care of you.
All right.
So when I finish my school, I wish to go. My results are good at home, but I don't have anyone to support me to go back to school. So that's why I'm in Accra doing kaya, and I'm also taking care of my mother.
All right. You said your grades are good.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing with me what you had?
Yeah.
What did you get?
I can't remember, but my forms are inside my phone.
And okay, so they are on your phone, but you know that they are good grades that can take you to the university.
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm coming back to all of us. I want to find out, what is the day-to-day life? Run me through your day-to-day life as a Kayayo. How do you live your life? When you wake up in the morning, what are you thinking about? How does your life look? Where do you sleep? Are you constantly getting food to eat? I'm coming to everybody, and I want to know, what is life as a Kayayo looking like for us? From in the morning till the evening that we sleep, what does that look like for us? Let me start with you.
You know, like, if you're at home, people will be doing kaya. Your sisters, they will come to kaya and go back. So that is the place you also gather your information from. So if you also come to Accra here to do kaya, and if you don't have anyone, you will be sleeping outside until you have found someone who will allow you to come and sleep in their house. So when I came first, I was sleeping outside because I don't have anyone to stay with. When my sister came and I was sleeping outside, she asked me that, why is it that when I came, I couldn't able to patch with other people, then I'm sleeping outside. I said, I don't know them. I don't know if I go and sleep and something happened to me, who am I going to talk to? So that's why I decided to be sleeping outside. So she brought me to their house, and she sent me to where they are selling the basin, and she bought it for me. So every day I would just get up, take my pan and go and be roaming. And the way nowadays the Accra is, the way it is, it's not like the olden days, because now if you don't have any customers, you will not get money, because they will just come. If they are coming, they will call you that they are on the way coming. So you should wait for them at this place. If they come, they will take you, they will go and shop, and the person will give you money. So nowadays it's difficult for us in Accra. Even the house that we are sleeping on, the price is costly. It's going down. So the only thing I'm just saying is that they should come and do something for us.
Now let me find out from you, where do you sleep and how much do you pay? Do you even pay for the place?
Yes. I'm living at Concomba. So the rent is also high. I'm paying 150
for a month.
A week.
Every week you pay 150 cedis. Is it that they give you a place to sleep, they give you mattress, or you just go inside and it is bare floor?
No, it's bare floor. You buy this one mat.
And you're paying 150 cedis. I see that. Let me come to you. Is it same for you? What is it looking like?
It's a wooden
infrastructure. And that one, the cement there's not even good. A week we pay 100 cedis.
A week you're paying 100 cedis just to sleep on the floor?
Yes. And the floor too is not even good. But what will you do? You don't have anybody here. You have to just manage it like that.
Are you constantly sharing? I'll come back to you, but are you constantly sharing the room with a lot of people, or probably it's just like you and a few people in there? What does the room situation? Walk me through how the room looks like.
The room is not good. Now, the place that I'm staying, we are 12 in number. I just use my cloth and spread the cloth and the floor, and I floor that. Because if you sleep, how to turn it right is difficult for you to turn. If you just turn, you will see your colleague also turn and come and sleep at your place. But because we don't have money, we all contribute together and we pay it. Because if I go to the market, I will not get enough money to come and stay the place that there are some few people stay. Because of that.
So is it one person that is it one person that is paying the 100 cedis, or all of you contribute the 100 cedis?
All of us contribute and pay the 100 cedis.
I see. Now, this apartment you are talking about, where do you bath? I also want to know, because we are ladies, and from our previous conversations, we've all spoken about parts and how we want to keep ourselves clean. Where are we bathing and easing ourselves? Where?
We have baths up there. They always do. You go and pay the money and bath.
So you also have to pay to be able to clean yourself?
Yes, you pay. Nowadays, everything is costly. If you go, they say they have buckets. Small one is 1 cedi, 50 pesos, and then the big one is 2 cedis. And then hot water is 5 cedi, 3 cedi.
Okay. Now let me find out from you, my dear. Do you even make enough money to be able to pay for these rooms that you guys are sleeping in? The money you make in a day, is it okay to be able to pay, and how do you contribute to pay that?
No, nowadays the things are costly. So when we go to the market, even common 5 cedi kura, you won't get. You will roam 4 o'clock to by this time kura, you will still roam back. How you will struggle and get 5 cedi to come and bath and eat kura is not easy for us. So here, there, we are just suffering, but we are just living, but we are suffering a lot.
That's what I was asking. Let me go to Jaharada. Jahara, the money you guys are making, because every day you are on your way, every day you go to work, don't you? The money you are making, is it enough for you to eat, to be able to pay these bills, from the house bills to the bathing bills to everything you're paying? And you still tell me that you send some of this money to your parents up in the north. How are you guys able to? Is the money enough?
No, please. But sometimes, if you go to Kaya, you get 5 cedi. You have to manage because of the house fee. You have to send some to your parents. Sometimes you have to do fasting. You will not eat and you will sleep. You wake up in the morning to sometimes you will not even bath. Even toilet cry, you run and go and hide some place and shit. It's true. You run and go and hide some place and shit and get up. And the next day, you went out again and be home. If you get 5 cedi, you buy food. These days, 5 cedi don't have food again. If you have 5 cedi, unless you do fasting or you buy food 5 cedi and eat, and you will not bath.
Now, Mary, let me find from you. How much do you make in a day? Let me know. How much can you make as a Kayayo in a day? And are you able to save some of this money?
Okay. Because the market at times is always bad, especially nowadays. So at times I do make 30 cedis, that is the highest. At times 20, at times 25. So after the work, I will pay house use, I will bath, go to toilet, even when we are bathing, just a public bathroom. So because it's not hygienic, it's not hygienic.
But do you get money to save? Are you able to save out of this 30 cedis?
No, at times I will spend all. I will eat in the morning, eat in the afternoon, eat in the evening. At times I used to starve because how to buy food is a problem. So if you don't starve yourself, you will not get money to bath, neither you will pay your house dues. And where we are staying, if you don't pay your house dues a week, they're going to sack you. So when they sack you, you have no place to go. So you have to starve yourself to pay for that.
I hear people saying that they'll sack some of you to go when you cannot pay for the houses. What are some of the challenges of sleeping outside? Because sometimes you don't have the money. From what she's saying, if you make 30 cedis in a day, sometimes it doesn't even, you don't even have money to pay the house dues. What are the challenges of sleeping outside? Because sometimes you end up sleeping outside. So let me find out some of the things or the challenges that comes with sleeping outside as a Kayayo for you.
Sometimes, like if you sleep outside, and the truck boys or the foolish guys, they will come and rape you. And if they rape you and you are pregnant, where will you get money to even go and do? How to even get food and eat is a problem for you. So if you are pregnant, you don't know the father of your the child. So what will you do? You have to just go home like that because And so, sometimes too, they will even give you diseases because you don't know them. You do not study with them. You don't go to hospital with them. So how will you know that this person is having diseases or not? So they will end up by what? By giving their diseases to you.
All right. So she has said that when you sleep outside, sometimes you stand the risk of being raped. Let me come to you, Arama. Is that the same? Have you experienced it yourself?
Yes. I was having a friend I was living with, but because I don't have money, they sacked me. I was sleeping outside. One day they tried to rape me, but I escaped. I went to one of my sister. Now they live with them.
Any other challenge? Let me come to you, Rabiatu. What are some of the challenges aside you sleeping outside? What are some of the challenges you face?
Sleeping in the outside because I don't have money to pay the house fee. That's why I went and sleep outside. When I sleep outside too, I face so many problems outside there because one day I went and sleep outside there and I sleep there. The things that I see is not good at all because I use my pan as a room. I sat on my pan and I used my cloth to cover myself. As if that I'm sleeping, but I'm not sleeping. My waist, I'm just scared. I just feel pains on my body, but I use that place that place is my house. So when I'm doing that, I sat there when it was night. I see some people come around me. I don't know what they are there for because I'm only one girl there. When I see the boys there, I think that they want to do me something and I'm afraid. So I just get up and I just calling one of my friends. I'm doing that. I'm with someone over there. I'm going to the person. Because when I sat there, I removed my sandals, my everything inside the pan and I slept there. Because of that, when I just see them, I'm afraid. I just get up and I'm walking over there to someone over them. So when I'm calling the person name, I just walk out. When I just get them, when I get some space there, I run away and leave my pan and leave my everything there because I'm afraid what they are thinking to do to me is no good. I know that if not they want to kill me, it's like they want to rape me because I'm afraid. I lost my pan. How to get it to is difficult for me.
Right. So from the conversation we've had so far, it looks like none of us wants to be Kayayos. We wish that we were going to school. Even if it's not school, we wish we had better job opportunities. So I'm going to come to all of us to find out how can we be helped? What help do you want the government to give you? What do you want to see? What changes do you also need in your life? Let me come to you first.
Please, I want to go back to school.
You just want to go back to school?
Yeah, I want the government to help me to go back to school because my parents, they can't how to get financial is a problem for them. So I wish the government should help me to go back to school. That's what I want.
Right. So you were saying education. What do you want government to help you with?
The government to provide some works at our place so that I will not come here to come and be doing the kaya again.
Now, you said you once they have introduced 2 hostels as part of the Kayayo Empowerment Plan. They have introduced 2 hostels for Kayayes, and they're also training over 5,000 people. They've started with 500. Isn't that good news for you? And does that work, or do you still want more?
We still want more, so that they will create some jobs over there. So if you are not continue your education, you should be doing any job. They should create jobs. So that if you are not going to school, you can be employed there, doing small, so that you get some money.
Right. So Rabiatu, she's saying that there are jobs in here. Even though you've heard that is good news, you want some in the north for yourself so that you don't have to come here. Is that what I'm hearing?
I like to go back to school, because when I'm going to school, now that I went to SS, I feel like if I, like you peoples, I feel you, if I become one of you like this, I feel it a lot. So me too, I want to go to school. I want to go to school.
Right. Now, Rama, would you choose school, or just as I asked, the government has implemented or has introduced hostels for KIAs? Is that enough? What else do you want?
No, it's not enough. And then I want to go back to school. And then they should look for work for us. Like Bomia is doing this. Some of us, we didn't hear it cry. If you are not saying like that, we didn't hear like Bomia do something. We didn't hear something like that.
They said that even though Baomi has introduced the hostels, you want more and you want some in the north. Do you also want that too?
Oh, I also want to go to the school. Even when I hear your voice cry, I feel if no school, the English I can speak. So I also want to go to the school. If no school, I can speak English. So as I like this cry, I can speak well. But if I go through further education more, I can speak more and speak with public people. So I want to go to the school.
How about jobs? Don't you want more jobs, especially in the north? Because all of you have said that there are no jobs in the north. So what about jobs?
We want jobs. We really want it. But some of us too, we want to further our education, and we want to be maybe nurse, and we look, we take care of our parents.
What do you want to be?
Nurse. I want to take care of my parents at home. If they are sick, if they went to hospital, I will not collect them money because of financial problem. I will just take care of them without taking anything.
Right, now, Mary, let me end with you. What are you looking forward to? What do you want?
Oh, me, I want to further my education. Or a police or immigration, yeah, that's my target. But because of financial problems, I'm still a KIA, so I'm just, how will I say, yeah. So I want to further my education. So if the government can do something to support it, you know, back at the north, there is no jobs, it's only farming, and farming too is not easy. It's not easy. So,
all right. So we have heard the candid voice of KIAs. They have told us what they really want. They want to further their education. They want better infrastructure. They want more jobs, especially up north, for them to be able to do so. If there's anything we've heard, is the fact that they are not even comfortable being KIAs and they want more. As we head to the elections, we hope that their voices will be heard loud and clear. My name is Loishala Ademi, but before I go, let me say a very big thank you to our sponsors: Star Ghana Foundation, Youth Bridge Foundation, ICPA, SIMA, Petrosol, the German Ozone Medical Center, and Chopbox Technologies for making this conversation possible. We have spoken to them. We've had a very, very, very intriguing conversation. And the next time you see me, I will be in your community. Same time. Bye.
Environmentalists are intensifying pressure on the government to begin work on the Keta coastlines to prevent the city's total collapse. They warn that the government's continued delay in starting sea defense projects in the Keta municipality could result in the complete destruction of the area within a few years. In 2022, the government secured approximately $150 million to protect 3 coastal communities, including Keta. However, a year later, environmentalists lament no visible progress in sight. In the second part of today's climate series, Vanishing Shores of Keta, Carlos Caloni explores how rising sea levels are affecting tourism, revenue, and even the dead in the Keta municipality.
Apart from negative impact on housing and livelihood, the rising levels of the sea is negatively impacting on tourism here in Keta. The owner of this facility tells me how devastating the recent tidal waves have been on his facility.
The cost is very tremendous. First, we are losing clients, so no income is coming. It's a loss. We still have to protect or keep certain facilities running, like the fridges, security and all this thing, electricity will be on, it's a cost. Now, in my case, in an attempt to protect the facility from being destroyed totally, I have to find a way of protecting my property. As I stand now, I spent close to 1 million cedis to get this facility standing here.
James Akoli is a former assemblyman and a tour guide of this fort.
The state of the fort now is due to the rising sea level at that time. In 1980, the sea came and destroyed part of the fort. 3/4 of the fort has been washed into the sea. So that what left now is 1/3 we are seeing today. You see, the state of it now is partially rain. So if properly done, I think it will attract a lot of visitors to the fort. So it have declined the number of visitors that come into the fort.
At the Keta Municipal Assembly, officials lament climate change's devastating impact on revenue generation. Ransford Owusu is the Assembly's finance officer.
Truly, this tidal wave things normally, when it do happen, affects the business premises of the various businesses along the coast, and it does affect our property rate collection and then the collection of business operating permits from the various businesses that are along the coast. Sometimes when they leave their canoes and nets at the shore, before they will come back the next day, it has been taken away by the tidal waves. And that also affects their livelihood. And then it also affects the local economy, because Keta is mainly a fishery community. When we go to the market for revenue mobilization, you see that a lot of the farmers which hitherto were coming to the market, they no more come again.
Despite these devastating challenges, many, including environmentalists, strongly believe practical steps can be taken to reverse the trend and protect lives, livelihoods, and property.
I believe that something can be done. With my own experience, by dumping these boulders, what I have seen, it can be done.
The rock sea defense protection, which we use here mostly when we get the challenge, is only a short-term measure or a temporary measure that is put in place to contain the situation, after which major solution is found and then the issue is resolved. And there are a lot of countries that we can cite. Unfortunately for us in Ghana and in Africa, I don't know if it's because of funding or because of lack of research. We have relied heavily on this rock sea defense protection, and that has really destroyed the marine environment and coastal biodiversity, aside not being able to solve the problem that we seek to resolve.
The new trend is about the hybrid, where we can do a little of what the rock and the boulders, they should do it. But the people have lost enough land that need to be reclaimed. And the hybrid gives them the opportunity to still have access to the beach and go on with their daily activities like fishing and farming.
In 2022, the World Bank approved a $246 million project to strengthen coastal resilience in West African countries, including the Gambia, Ghana, and the Guinea-Bissau. However, Joel and Fiatui believe the government's slow approach to the work shows it doesn't appreciate.
Government has secured about $150 million in order to do the protection works in 3 areas: Densu, Kole area, and the Keta area. So we are waiting for government to start doing the work along the Keta coast, because of late, the erosion has been very, very precarious.
Government is delaying. I don't know the reason why. I'm sure it's the usual bureaucracy, but I can use this medium to appeal to government that, I mean, there's no time to waste. If there's anything that can be done to help ameliorate the challenges that our people are facing along the coast, it is this one. We have not been able to access the funding for the previous one that was done in Benin and Abidjan because of some of these bureaucracies within our country. And so we have to really put our first foot forward and do what is necessary. In fact, Kita area is the only place that is experiencing 2.2 meters rate of recession annually per annum, compared to the 0.6 that is happening along the entire coast. Not only in Ghana, but in Africa. The Kita area experiences 2.2 meters recession per annum. And that can tell you that it's a great challenge. If we don't act fast, we are going to lose the whole place.
Livelihoods, housing, tourism, education, and government revenue are all under serious threat due to the vanishing shores caused by climate change. Keta and other coastal communities are indeed sitting on an environmental time bomb that demands urgent attention. Indeed, apart from the devastating impact of the rising levels of the sea on lives and property, the dead are equally paying a huge price. As you can see, Solomon Kwashi, who died somewhere in 2021, his tomb is sinking, and he's just one of the thousands of tombs that are sinking due to the rising levels of the water. So apart from the living, the dead are equally paying a high price of the climate change impact here in the Keta municipality of the Volta region. My name is Carlos Caloni for Joy News.
Carlos really paints the picture there accurately. Not only the living are feeling the impacts of climate change, but the dead are also feeling the impact. Let's expand this conversation a bit further. The Executive Director for Center for International Maritime Affairs for Ghana, Mr. Albert Fiatui, joins us for a conversation. Albert, thank you for joining the conversation. And we now know that we also have Joel Degui from the Center for Natural Resources and Environmental Management also with us. Do I have Joel with me? Okay, gentlemen, you have to unmute though. Let me start with you, Albert. You said we now know that Keta's coast is witnessing a recession of 2.2 meters per annum. And it's the fastest place to be eroding on the entire continent of Africa. Help me paint the picture. If immediate steps are not taken, where will Keta be in the next 6 years, 5 to 6 years?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our listeners and viewers. I think that the picture is gloomy, and you mentioned 6 years, but I can tell you that in the next 3 years, if we are not able to take any concrete action to manage this situation, we are going to lose the whole of Kita coast, where I call one of the greatest blessings that God has given to mankind, being located between the lagoon and the sea, which is a very beautiful sight to behold.
Right. Did I hear you say government has spent 150 million already? On what exactly?
No.
In the report, I heard 150 million has been spent so far. Where did that money go?
I think that money has been earmarked. It's an amount of money that the World Bank has given to the country, but it has not been implemented. The project has not been implemented yet, and that is what we call the Worker project. In fact, we lost out on that project 2 years ago due to our internal bureaucracies, and so we were jumped. So the program took place in Abidjan and Benin, and so when you go to those two countries now, I mean, you see a lot of development and protection of the coastal environment. Unfortunately, we could not have access to ours 2 years ago, but we are now being told that Ghana's own is in, about $1.5 million has come, and so we are waiting on the appropriate authorities to release the funding for the bodies that are supposed to take up the project, because there is really no time to waste.
Let me come to Joel. Joel is an environmentalist. Joel, how did we get here, and where do we go from here? Joel, you have to unmute. Joel, if you can hear me, I was asking you, how did we get to this devastating situation, and what's our way forward? And I think you should unmute. We can't hear you. Or kindly take out the earpiece and listen to me directly. We can't hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, I got you right. How did we reach here? Keta is a low-lying area. The coast east of the Volta estuary is a low-lying area in Ghana's geomorphology. So about 60 years ago, there has been this phenomenon that has been really, really acute. So the coast between the estuary and Aflau, that is communities like Kokobo, Uveme, Adakoji, Akrotoko, up to Keta, and moving even further east to Salakope, Azizan, Gaveji, and the others have all lost, wide portion of their original land. And this happened as a result of a multiplicity of factors, and one of them being the climate change issue, which has made the sea level to rise, and therefore the coastal erosion has become acute. You are talking about 2.5 meters. That is the average. It's not, that is, some areas are experiencing about 8 meters annually. And of late, I can tell you authoritatively that I have seen areas that are beyond 30 meters worn away by the sea in the last 3 years. Yeah, so it has been both climate change and as well as the low-lying area of the area and the sandy nature of the coast between the Adan or the Volta estuary and the area with the border with Togo. Yeah, so if you ask how is the way forward, we have had the Keta Sea Defense Project earlier here in Keta. It has saved a portion of the land between Hovi and a portion of Keta, roughly some 8 kilometers. But beyond that, the drift effect started happening around Hovi, Salakope, Amuchinu, Gaveji, down to Aflau Denu. Yeah, so there's the need to come in again and protect those areas, as mentioned already by Mr. Fiati. So central government must be proactive in securing the needed fund in order to go full strength into the protection of the land between the Volta estuary and the border between Togo. So as we have seen in the last years, if nothing is done, as Mr. Fiati has said, I believe strongly that the next few years, I don't want to be specific on the duration, but in the next few years, because I've been in Keta for the past 30 years and I have seen the portion of the land that is lost to the sea already. And if that trend continues, then we end up having the entire Keta gone into the sea. And what will be left is that the coast will be somewhere around Akachi or around Dabala, as the sea has taken over the entire coast between Adan, the Volta estuary and Aplau area.
Okay, please hold for me. We also have Sergi Saji, and he is Deputy National Coordinator for NADMO. Mr. Sergi, thanks for joining us as well. What early warning measure are you taking to ensure that lives and properties are not impacted or not destroyed? I mean, with the impact of this climate change that we are feeling.
Thank you, and good morning to your viewers and other panelists as well. I hope you can hear me. I'm being heard.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Yes, the situation is quite a very serious one. And listening to your two co-panelists, what it places on us as NADMO is a very huge burden, because that is where our mandate lies, that when there are humanitarian crises, we come in to provide relief and try as much as possible to get involved in the recovery efforts. The challenge here is that this situation persists, and every time we have reports of displaced persons along these areas, especially the areas that was mentioned by the environmentalists. Unfortunately, the sea defense will not cover the whole stretch, and the particular areas that the sea defense that is not stretched to or doesn't cover is receding very, very fast, and I'm sure that's where it mentioned somewhere about 8 meters. Our challenge as a humanitarian institution is to try as much as possible to have holding centers and to prepare that if there are displacements, we'll be able to be temporarily manage the situation. So what we have done is to also develop a contingency plan with the Keta municipality and the Anglo municipality. So as we speak, we have a contingency plan developed, so that things that we will do, first of all, identifying the hazard, the climate change hazards. Some of them are tidal waves and the recession of the land. So we have a contingency plan now, which spells out clearly all the actors and the collaborators, what we will do when in 24 hours when the disaster happens, what we'll do in a week, what we'll do in 2 weeks, what we'll do in 1 month. But as has been said by my co-panelists, it's a situation where the state has to get involved to boldly deal with the situation once and for all. If not, we'll be losing the whole coast.
Okay. Please hold for me. Let me go back to Albert. Albert, we understand the West African Coastal Area Fund is ready. What is the fund supposed to do? And if it's for a project, why hasn't it commenced yet?
Thank you very much again. I think the fund is supposed to help us overcome this great challenge that we face, to build resilience and to protect the coast. I am not in the position to tell why it has delayed, because it's a great challenge for me as well. But I have also been part of the committee working on the Sustainable Ocean Plan for Ghana. And in our last meeting, it was announced that the fund is now ready for disbursement by the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. And so we are only looking forward to that. When that happens, what I spoke about earlier, about Abidjan and Benin, we'll be seeing, and then our coast can be protected, because we are going to see a lot of nature-based approaches, that is planting of mangroves, and also fitting in some modern technologies to be able to protect the coast, rather than using the rock sea defense walls, which ends up destroying the biodiversity of the beautiful sand. And the reason why we call it Kita.
Right, Albert, right before I let you go, what recommendations or what form of coastal protection do you recommend, considering the fact that 2/3 of the main Keta municipality is already in the, vanishing?
The greatest is the nature-based approach. That is by engaging in the planting of mangroves and other plants that protect the environment, and also falling on the successful countries that have been able to manage this situation to adopt their technologies, one of which is the reshore technology, which is used to protect the coast and also generate energy, which is a challenge for us as a country.
Right.
So some of the recommendations I can cite, but there are many more that we are working on behind the scenes to put out so that government can take it up and help protect our people.
Thank you so much. And Joel, you live in this community. What would be your word to the governments regarding the vanishing shores as we speak?
Thank you very much. The Waka project that Ghana has embarked on is the second phase of the World Bank coastal protection or coastal areas protection program. So countries like Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Mauritania, Togo, Benin, and Sao Tome have already done it. So the best practice is there. I was in Benin Republic a number of times, and I have visited a project site along the coast between Ilakoji and Seme or Cotonou. I have seen the work done there.
Right.
They didn't just bring in rocks to, protect the remains or the small portion of the land left, but rather they did what is called land reclamation from the sea. They brought in a company from Netherlands called Boskalis, who brought in a dredger ship that was able to pump sand from about 4 or 5 kilometers into the sea and pour it on the land and created additional land like 300, 350 meters with a height of about 4.5 meters. So my advice to central government is that we have already lost enough land in Keta, and we don't have land again. So the Waka project should look at land reclamation, how to get land, additional land or lost land, like the Puveme, Kokogbo, Adakoji, Japlagbe, Atiteti, Aklotoko. The land is gone into the sea.
Joel.
Let's get the project done right by gaining back land and be able to get land for the local residents who have lost enough through these coastal erosional activities.
Thank you, Joel. That's all time will allow us. But let me give the last word to Seji Saji. Seji Saji, you have the final word.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, all this is pointing to a situation where we have to act fast as a country. If all the solutions that have been proposed by the two panelists and happens in the shortest possible time on the medium term, what it does to us as a disaster management organization is that it lessens our burden of preparing and responding to those situations. But I think that we need to act very fast so that the lives and properties in those areas will be saved at least, especially trying to reclaim part of the land, which was done in the first place when they did the sea defense from Ovui to somewhere around Keta. Most of the land you see there were lands claimed from the sea. Actually, what happened was the sea and the lagoon merged.
Seji, so unfortunately, that's all time will allow us for today. But we'll continue this conversation, and we do actually bring you this climate focus series every Wednesday. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I had Seji Saji, who's Deputy National Coordinator for NADMO. We also had Joel Dengui, who's Executive Director for the Center for International Maritime Affairs, as well as Albert Fiatui, Executive Director for the Center for International Maritime Affairs, Ghana. Thank you so much. But right before we end the show this morning, if you're stressed out about your cleaning needs, you should worry no more, because Dan's World Services is a one-stop shop that meets all your commercial and residential cleaning needs, from pest control, janitorial, house cleaning, event cleaning, waste management, even carpet and sofa, leaving you with beyond expectation. You can call them, or you can locate them at Excel House at Regimanuel Estate, at Nungwa Barrio, or simply call them on 0302-905-538 or 0555-752-361. That's what Services Beyond Expectation. And that's our show for this morning. Joy News Desk is coming up next. You want to stay for that. Thank you for watching.